Me do things incredible can, cause I am seed of a chosen breed. You don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
Good. We play this game. Hold on, I gotta turn you guys on. I got a magic button in here, Terry. I can shut you up anytime I want. It's so beautiful. See, look, you can just talk all you want. You can't do nothing about it. Let's try him again. Y'all hear Terry? Y'all hear Terry? Y'all hear? Let's try him. Here we go.
We go. Hello, America.
Oh gosh, there you go, Terry. You can't hear nothing.
I can hear you, but I can't hear Terry, and I like.
Well, you've got to be able to hear me, huh?
Wait, what? I mean, I can hear you outside of the headphones.
Can you turn yourself up a little bit there, Hunter, without spilling water all over every electronic in the building?
I mean, yeah, I can try.
He can try to turn his headphones up, Terry. That's step one, right?
There we go.
He's got his paper towels out, so he'll be cleaning that up. He was in Cabarrus County last night for the big Kings Mountain win. We're going to talk about that in a little while. Shelby, big win over North Lincoln. We had Ken and Tim in last night after the game to stop by the post-game show. I think they ate all our pizza, Terry. They got missing quick after they rolled through. And let's see, Cinefani was here last night. He might call in a little bit when we talk about Ohio State football. Are they going to get in the playoffs? We got to cover that. Let's see.
Go Dogs! Go Dogs!
We got to talk about Terry's Cowboys. We've had a couple of good days here. Hunter's Redskins are on flames right now. Like 2 to 3 weeks ago, it was looking great. It changes so quick in the NFL. Speaking of changing quick in the NFL, Panthers were 6-2. They're now 6-5. There's 3 straight weeks. How about Kareem Hunt? Just blew the news off.
Man, I absolutely am sitting back. Me and Hunter was just talking about that. Guys, you're making millions of dollars, and you do stuff stupid, and it's caught on camera, and there's no way to get away from it. Social media will follow you everywhere. There's cameras everywhere. It's going to be on you. And then you do stuff, and now I don't know what to say about the young man. You messed up. And you don't think that's going to hurt Kansas City? Yes, it will. He does so much for them.
Terry couldn't wait to go off on something. I'm just naming topics. Hey, I didn't recognize him last night.
I think that's what the outcome Hunter Hunt's lost right there.
It is. Last year, offensive line coach. So, Hunter, welcome and good morning.
Hunter,
Jesus, I even got to.
Same excuse.
It is. What? Where'd you go? They lost. I just said they lost.
I know where I was at last night, but I don't know where he was at last night.
Well, I guess, I guess I should have asked him and not you.
I was at Northwest Cabarrus.
Yeah, you and Jason are on the roof out there. We're going to talk a little bit.
Was you on the roof?
Yeah. This is what made us so mad, and I know.
Good start.
And it was nothing about.
This is true life. That's right. Go ahead.
It was nothing about being on the roof. That really was not upsetting to us. I enjoyed the atmosphere. We were on the Northwest Cabarrus side. We didn't need a crowd mic because we were literally right there amongst the people. Well, what made us so mad is, you originally told us, that's where they put radio stations is up top. Quote from the email. Well, after the game, when we're packing up all of our equipment after, it rained a couple times, so we had trash bags on top of everything.
Yeah, boy.
Well, turns out they had their own radio station in the press box. Oh, Oh, so radio stations are up top.
That's not the way the email read.
Oh, so all radio stations. So the press box is really a press box and not a coach's box. Okay.
That's what Terry, what do you think? You think we should go sign a petition, send it into the Athletic Association, that says they need to rename all these little square owl buildings that look on top of these stadiums that they call press boxes? Should they rename them to coaches boxes? Because the way the emails I got back and forth, and then Hunter, looking at the field, I asked, was there not like a track or walking level like right on back behind the bleachers and stuff on both sides, kind of? Because I asked about if we could drive our truck up there to keep you guys driving and warm, and he said there was nowhere to park it up there. And looking at the overhead pictures, I thought there might have been.
There was, you would have just had to bob and weave through a bunch of people because it was crowded. They had.
I got there early.
I'm just saying, was there room? Yes. Overall, I didn't have a bad experience up top. The weather was.
It's fine as long as it's not rainy or really cold. If it was been like in the 40s, that would have been a big issue.
It's their place. They're gonna have their own.
No, Terry.
I do give them some credit.
Give me 2 seconds. Here's what you got to understand. Of all the people inside that press box last night in Cabarrus County, every single one of them was either volunteering to be in there or getting paid to be there. The only people that were actually paying to be in if it rains on our equipment, how can we do this? In the meantime, the football coaches who preach toughness are sitting in the cozy inside weather eating cookies, calling plays.
They also preach discipline but love to scream and rip the countertops off.
We were sitting right there next to all the Kings Mountain coaches that were up top with us as well. So it looks like they really treat the visitors.
I think it's turned into a visitors on top in North Carolina. You got volunteers and people that aren't even press or in the press box in there eating cookies and stuff, enjoying
I'll say this,
out of the weather while Hunter's trying to work.
Yeah, and I'll say this: it would not have been. Well, okay, I'm not even going to say it was a bad experience, but it did light rain on and off all night. It would not be bad if you are someone, a radio station or someone covering the game with equipment that does have to be up top if it's covered. It's
maybe they should have had like a canopy.
I
don't know. Maybe
can't be picky, and
laws against that. I mean,
it's just every place is different, and it is when you don't make room for you guys that are actually paying, and then there's people that, like I said, in some of these places that aren't even working or doing anything other than thinking they're in a luxury box and they're just sitting inside this little box taking up space. But anyway,
I'll say this though: I hope that radio station was nice and warm. They're not going to work next Friday night, so hey. I was like, well, we were walking back, taking all our equipment, and we were just like, well, I mean, they're not going to be busy next Friday, so I hope they enjoyed it.
I hope they have fun with it. So
ways to look at things. Right?
Well, look at the silver lining. Hunter's going to be working next week.
I will be working next Friday night at Charlotte Catholic. So, they treat us a little bit better.
So Kings Mountain will be at Charlotte Catholic next. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We've got to do picks. We've got to do scores. We're going to give you the scores right now, folks. Just hold on before we get a break. We'll come back. We've got to talk high school football. We've got college football, big day today. Talk about picks. No, don't even try calling those dogs yet, Hunter. Did y'all see that? He started pumping that.
Remember, it's Alabama.
Hey. We'll talk about that. I'll let you
Can a dog surf? That's the question today.
No.
Well,
no.
Well,
maybe.
yeah,
some of them can.
Some of them can.
And
gravity.
I bet a doctor would be a heck of a surfer too, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Terry, what do you think, the Dotson will be the best surfing dog or a bulldog?
And all I know is that tide just keeps coming in. It keeps getting higher and higher until it overwhelms you, Hunter.
We'll see about that.
We got NBA action to talk about. We got talk about the Broncos' new third baseman, right?
Yeah, we
Y'all excited about that?
I mean, it's a 1-year deal. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we got. Yeah.
I'm just happy we got someone back home.
Be careful, Kansas City gonna be there.
We talk about UNCC's.
Yeah.
And
I don't blame him. I do not blame him.
We'll talk about that.
All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Join Parade this Saturday, December 2nd. The broadcast will begin at 2:45 with the parade starting at 3 p.m. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Sism & Son Paint and Body Shop on Shelby Road in Kings Mountain. Also by Florida America on Slater Street in Kings Mountain. By Crown Automotive on Highway 74 west of Kings Mountain. By Love's Fish Box on Shelby Road in Kings Mountain. By Bear's Floor Covering on Dixon School Road in Kings Mountain. By Full Throttle Power Sports on Indian Walk in Lowell. By Renato Auto Mall on Highway 74 east in Shelby. By West End Sales, Highway 18 north in Vale. By Auto Parts U Pull on County Home Road in Shelby. By Bill Shuford Heating and Air on Campbell Street in Shelby. By Harris Funeral Home in Kings Mountain, and by Parker Farm Service on Sism Road in Kings Mountain. So join us this Saturday, December 2nd for the Sism & Sons Paint and Body Shop broadcast of this year's Kings Mountain Christmas Parade. Just go to YouTube and search Kings Mountain Parade or go to ktcbroadcasting.com. Register to win $1,000 in Christmas cash. It will be given away Monday, December the 24th, Christmas Eve at 8 a.m. on the Boston, Carolina Country. Register today with no obligation to buy at Brown & Howe Dentistry on East Marion Street in Shelby, at Love Insurance Agency on East Main Street in Lincolnton, at Mountain Holiday in downtown Kings Mountain, at Denny's Restaurant on East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia, at Classical Lamp Designs on Highway 180 North in Shelby, at the Great Outdoors, Highway 150 East in Cherryville, at Hillbilly's Barbecue on East Garrison Boulevard in Gastonia, at Honda Motorcycles on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, at Parker Farm Service on Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain, at Mi Pueblito Mexican Restaurant on West Warren Street in Shelby, and at Watson Carpet and Tile on East Main Street in Lincoln. Register and win the $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway.
Say, kids, what time is it?
This is the 60s.
Hey, JJ Wilson here reminding you to tune in this weekend for This is the 60s, featuring the best music from the best decade and so much more. There's 60s television, movies, news, pop culture, trivia, novelty songs, interviews, deep cuts, and a whole lot more. It's peace, love, and rock and roll on This is the 60s.
This is the 60s, Friday mornings from 10 a.m. till 12 noon on The Boss, WOHS, AM and FM in Shelby, WLON in Lincolnton. Renato Auto Mall in Shelby, in cooperation with the local Salvation Army of Shelby, wants to make this Christmas a little brighter for children in our area. Now through December 22nd, we're asking you to drop off an unwrapped toy and put it in the bed of the big GMC Sierra truck in the Renato Auto Mall showroom. The toys will be distributed to underprivileged children in our area. Plus, if you'd like to make a donation, a Salvation Army kettle will be available as well. Drop your unwrapped toy off today at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. And when you buy a new vehicle at Renato Auto Mall through Christmas, you'll get a free Broad River ham from Morris Supermarket. Renato Auto Mall, right below the Cleveland Mall. It's time to order your holiday barbecue packs from Hillbilly's Barbecue and Steaks. We do want to remind you that Hillbilly's Barbecue and Steaks in Gastonia is closed for remodeling and will be reopening soon. But until then, visit the location in Lowell at 720 McCaddenville Road. To order your holiday barbecue packs, call 704-824-8838. Let Hillbilly's do your holiday catering while you relax with your family. Hillbilly's Barbecue and Steaks, 720 McCaddenville Road in Lowell, and reopening soon on Garrison Boulevard in Gastonia.
At Reliable Home Appliance Center in Gastonia, they have something for both mom and dad. For mom, see front-load washers and dryers. Also, built-in dishwashers and side-by-side refrigerators. Plus cooktops, microwave, and wall ovens. And for dad, it's the Big Green Egg for the ultimate cooking experience. And a new Danby Kegerator. Don't go to the big box store. Get hometown service plus a friendly smile at Reliable Home Appliance Center, located on 3001 Union Road in Gastonia. For sales, service, and parts, plus 12 months, same as cash.
Good morning. Campers in RV, Saturday Sports Talk. Breakfast by Mitchum's Kitchen and Van. We're having an incredible breakfast right now. Hunter, hold on.
All you have to do
Go ahead, Hunter. Go ahead.
I might have to change mine up. I'm over here watching Terry eating a huge plate, Carson eating a huge plate,
Yeah, boy.
and my biscuit was gone by the time I sat down.
Yeah, I bet it
Yeah,
was.
like in 2 bites.
I mean, and don't get me wrong.
Hunter,
it
I
is-
can't remember the last time I saw your biscuit.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even talk to him because it's gone.
Hey, don't get me
Carson
wrong,
has
the
no
biscuit's
idea you
great.
even get a biscuit.
Yeah,
I
Hunter.
didn't know you had food.
Hey,
ever.
I mean, obviously it's good because it doesn't last. Okay, so it's
Right.
a good biscuit. But I'm
Right.
just looking around and I'm thinking, man, these pancakes look awfully fluffy.
They are
They
good.
are, yeah.
They are good.
Yes.
I might have to switch it up, Terry. Do not be surprised if you get a text message at like 1 in the morning because I get a
Awful
craving and
fluffy.
it's just like, hey, maybe I want this
The
instead.
Fluffy Brothers will be on next week.
Awful fluffy, you said. All right, good morning, everybody. Terry, we forgot to give the scores. We told everybody was going to, and I got excited about playing the commercials, and Carson got excited about breakfast.
I did get excited.
Terry, what'd you have for breakfast?
I had a pancake with a side order of liver mush, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, boy.
I had egg and cheese biscuit as well. Want to thank all of our food sponsors that always take care of us on our shows. Our broadcasters love eating. We're not.
Yeah.
None of us are
Thanks for radio. That's exactly
That's right.
Yeah.
So if any of you businesses out there want to sponsor any of our shows or do the side sponsor or want to do a meal sponsor for any of our shows, feel free to give us a call. We'll take any of our shows.
Happily, and we will speak mighty high of you.
Yeah, boy.
Hunter and Jason will be going to Charlotte Catholic next week. So anyone in the Kings Mountain area want to feed these boys
experience
next
up
Friday want to sponsor his their pregame meal.
If not, it's okay. I've been stopping by a good old restaurant
I
every
know.
time I go.
All right, so Kings Mountain, we'll go to the scores there. We're going to start there.
Yeah.
Let's do the scores, and then we'll talk about those for a minute. So, Terry, give the scores, and then Hunter is going to start with his game.
All righty. As we start, we'll go into the 1A division. It was Robbinsville defeating Thomas Jefferson last night, 32-13. I did pick Robbinsville to start of this game. I think experience deeper into the playoff means a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Thomas Jefferson's not good. They are. They've been great all year, but I did take Robbinsville on that one. It was Murphy defeating Mitchell County 33-29. Murphy scored in the last minute of the game to take a victory over there. It was East Surrey having no trouble with Mount Airy. We had Coach Pruitt that called us yesterday in the pregame and told us that Mount Airy had a few players that was not going to play. I did not know it was going to be that much of a difference.
Well, East Surrey, that's back-to-back weeks where you win by 40.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, Coach Trent Lohman, former coach at Bandy's, is the coach up there, and they get them back 40-0. And it was Starmount 21, Polk County 7. Polk County, you hate to say, well, your season come to an end, but this team entered this tournament at 3-8. They won the first 2 games, 5-8, so they're gonna finish 5-9. But they made it to the 3rd round, so you know, hey, Starmount wins 21-7 over Polk County.
I got the next one, Hunter.
You
Don't
got
worry
it. That's
about it.
fine.
I don't want to talk about the next one.
Oh, okay. I'll save that for you.
Gonna start in the 2A with Brevard with a 20-13 win over Wheatmore. Reedsville wins over Mountain Heritage 21-14. Shelby with a pretty big win over North Lincoln 35-7. And then High Brighton, no trouble with Bandy's, really 34-15. And that was a game. That's no disrespect. I mean, High Brighton is a team that's won like 30 games at this point, Terry.
Yeah, they have. And the biggest thing, I mean, you know, this is 29 straight opponents now that High Brighton's held less than 20 points. And we spoke of that because they had a chance to kick an extra point last week and they missed it for that streak to stay intact. But the biggest game here, I know it's 14-0, and you think, well, Bandy's still in it. We're coming out for the second half. And then all of a sudden you see a text says Witherspoon just went 85 yards for a touchdown.
I got the next board. Mount Tabor, 24, AC Reynolds 21. Weddington 42 over Watauga.
That surprised me.
That's
in Watauga.
Yeah,
and I'm glad I took Wedding.
Watauga is a team that, Terry, you talked about it. They hadn't lost by more than, or hadn't, you know, their smallest margin of victory, if I can get this out, was 19 points all year, and then they lose by 28.
This game, Weddington scored, went up 7-0. Watauga bounced back, tied the game back up, and then that was it.
Yeah.
It was blowout city from there.
So that was 42-14 Weddington over Watauga. The game that Carson really doesn't want to talk about is Hunter Huss, the number 2 seed, falling to the number 3 seed, Charlotte Catholic, 28-7. You care to comment, Carson?
It's just a tough game. I mean, like Terry was talking about, I mean, Hunter Huss hasn't been this far in the playoffs since a couple years ago when you played Shelby when you're a 2A school, and you had a block punt in the first half. That sort of, and the offense just never really got going. It was. I mean, Huss had outgained them in the first half by just about like 18 yards or something like that.
Yeah,
but they couldn't get anything going. I mean, everything they did, Charlotte Catholic had an answer for.
Yeah,
and it wasn't that I don't think that Charlotte Catholic. I mean, they're obviously a better team. I don't think they're that much better, but they just pulled away, and they're more comfortable playing this deep into the season than Huss is.
Yeah. Well, Carson, I'm going to mention, and you talked about the block punt, and then they had another punt return for a touchdown. But, I'm going to give Richard Walker credit, too, because he put in here's your field positions that he stuck in the paper. This is Hunter Huss's field position, 21, 13, 30, 15, 28, 36, 48's the best they had, then 36, 17, and 33. They never had field position to offset what was happening.
We talk about how, a kicker in high school football can be really important. If you got a good punter at any level, that's part of your defense.
It is.
And right there you talk about it. Huss didn't have any starting field position closer than, they never started inside or past the 35. That's tough. That's something. And that was another thing we had talked about. I mean, Huss never really had any struggle. I mean, they did. I mean, you had close games like 14-0 against Crest, but you never really had a game where you were behind the majority of the game and had to come back. And maybe that's something that, it's just something when it's the first time it happens and it's in the third round of the playoffs, that can get to you.
And another thing, too, you think about it, Charlotte Catholic, we always talk about them, and we mentioned it with Coach Sanafani last night, but them amount of plays that remind me of the same teams, they're not going to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
And if you can't get any turnovers, then they've steadily moving the ball down the field, and field position becomes a differential that you're deep in your territory while they're the ones making plays. And then their special teams was exceptional. And I know Coach McCoy said, he was kind of disappointed we needed to make some teams, but you can't go into a game thinking I've got to make special team play to win a game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it shouldn't have to come down to that because you've had a great year. You've moved the ball. You've never had no trouble. And then all of a sudden you're against a team that put a defense out there that stopped everything you were doing.
I want to say that I think this, and we kind of stress it over the years a lot, and it happens all the time, Terry, but this year especially it's been proven quite a bit that this may be the year the special teams play. Catholic had 2 punt returns in that game.
Yeah.
And so, you take that away, Huss plays good defense, you're looking at a 1-score game there. So you got to look at that. How many games this year did we have, in the South Fork 2A that were affected by extra, 2-point conversions and 1 point? So 7-6 game, we got 1-point wins all across the conference there. So, and then when they do the seeds, you got teams like Star Mount at 6-6, got a 2 seed in the 3A. West Lincoln got bumped up into the 2AA because of Eastern teams made the playoffs. West Lincoln was a 9-2. And then Star Mount had a 2 seed at 6-6. I guess that's a conference win getting that 2 seed, but they would have had a lot better than a 13 seed. And that's one of the points I was kind of getting at last night. I know you guys we kind of talked about this last week. When you split it, if you're going to split the four A's into 8 A's for the playoffs, the conferences at least should be about 8 to 10 teams in a conference, so you get a better example size of what you're gonna play, right? So you get in these conferences and you got 6-6 Star Mounted as a 2 seed, and then Thomas Jefferson and those teams like that they were in that level. They were conference champion. There was only 2 conference champions in the 1A, or was it 3 in the West? It wasn't that many. I was just sitting there looking at it. I don't know if you, but Anyway, that highly affected that. So people were wondering about some of the seeds. There was a lot of upsets on that. So, Huss last night, Carson, they had a wonderful, outstanding season.
Oh yeah, that's the best Hunter Huss football team ever.
Right, and you guys can be proud to say that. Y'all talk about that for a long time, and for you Huss fans and you folks, be proud of everything you did. It hurts this week. Getting beat by Charlotte Catholic, I guess if you put that on the resume, is not too bad of a thing to put down. I know it probably stings because you look next week and say, man, we could have Kings Mountain back in the house, and we've already played them and kind of we're looking forward to that. So so you got Kings Mountain, this high-powered offense that Hunter was at last night, and he's been seeing it all year. And I made the point last night in the post-game show, Hunter, you saw Catholic last night, Carson. So I'll say this. I don't know what Catholic's got at running back, quarterback, and wide receiver, but on most nights, Kings Mountain's got those is the best at all three at those positions.
Yeah.
So what does Catholic have? Do they have anything as good as Wade, Mack, or Kobe Pace?
I wouldn't say they do. It's just their defense is
right.
Great,
and that's what Kings Mountain's been facing all year, and they've been putting points on the board. In fact, these are the only two teams, Charlotte Catholic and Kings Mountain, that put more than 20 points on Huss this year.
Yeah.
So those teams are going to the finals. The only two teams that put more than 20 points on Hunter Huss this year. So you're completely right, Carson. So on offense, what are they running type thing?
I mean, it's a little bit pro style, but I mean they'll open it up a little bit. They'll run like a 3 wide receiver base. They'll go shotgun, they'll go pistol, that kind of deal. But I mean, with them. Offense it comes second to that defense. It just does. I mean, it's a defense that it covers the middle of the field really well, and that's. I mean, if you can lock down the middle of the field, that's half the job is done. I think right there, especially once you can lock down the middle of the field, then you can slide a safety over the top to help cover Kobe Passauer when he runs those deep routes outside. And that's I feel like that's what you have to do. I mean, you can lock down the middle and you can basically put linebackers in zone coverage, and then you can, like I say, slide the safety over the top. Just keep somebody on Kobe Passauer all night. Like whoever it is, you stay with him. It doesn't even necessarily have to be your fastest guy, because it really needs to be your smartest cornerback, because it's somebody who's going to have to know that he has help over the top, and so he can be aggressive on shorter passes. But then if it's a deep route, you've got to be able to again trust that safety that's working with you. It'll be interesting because it's two very opposing styles. I mean, obviously Catholic can score. I mean, I think Huss was the best defense they had played all year, probably too. Right. But like to say, it could come down to special teams, and you, Terry, like you say, you hate to have to think about that, and have to almost rely on special teams to make plays, but you might have to if you're Kings Mountain, whether it's like Catholic getting a block punt, some sort of turnover and a quick score, or it's in the return game, it's returning a punt, it's returning a kickoff, and it's making plays like that.
Well, I know last night we come into this and we had 14 unbeaten teams. Charlotte Christian, well, their season's done. They finished 11-0 to win theirs. But as far as the other 13 that are still playing, Hunter Huss went down, Kinston went down, Mount Airy went down, Northwest Cabarrus went down, Thomas Jefferson went down, Watauga went down. So we knocked 6 more off of the unbeatens. So now that's down to 7 teams.
There's a lot of broken hearts last night across North Carolina.
The biggest thing that I see,
a lot of tears.
If you look at the teams who are seated lower, beating the upper seeded teams in the 1A bracket, the underseeded teams went 3-1. In the next bracket, they went the other way, 1-3. In the 3A bracket, the underseeded teams went 4-0. And then in the upper bracket in the 4A, they went 2-2. So the underseeded teams won 10 games last night compared to the upper seeds only winning 6.
Shoot. All right, Terry, looking at I'll say this I'll direct this more at Hunter.
Yeah.
Kings Mountain. Looking at Northwest Cabarrus, they've going into last night. Here's some of the scores that they'd given up this year: 24, 27 in a game they scored 58 in, 33-30 overtime over Cox Mill playoff. No, that's not playoff. That was the next last game. And then 21, and then last night, Kings Mountain goes in there, undefeated, hadn't given up more than 30 points all year, and they dropped 49 on them. Can the Catholic stop Kobe Paysauer like Carson was talking about? Can anybody stop him? Has anybody stopped him this year?
Catholic should not worry about Kobe Paysauer. And that's, that's because they have the number below his number to worry about, and that's Kalen Wade.
Yeah.
I'm going to be completely honest. Last night, Northwest Cabarrus did not impress me. I know they were the number 1 seed.
13
That's what
and
that's what I said.
Yeah,
to me, they were paper tigers. They looked really good on paper. They had really good numbers, but they weren't outstanding. They weren't as good as an undefeated team.
No,
as
and
you might
I'm
think.
just gonna I'll say this right now. Kings Mountain punched them in the mouth on their opening drive. They took it down there.
Punched them in the mouth
in.
in the whole first half.
They punched them in the mouth in the whole first half. Don't get me
35 to nothing.
Don't get me wrong, but that crowd was so loud until Kings Mountain went down and put it in the end zone. And then they said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We haven't seen this much this year. A team scoring on us on their opening drive as easily as Kings Mountain did. Kings Mountain, in the first half, the score was 35-7. Really should have been 35-0 because they gave them that last 1 second left to go. Really, they should have let the clock run. He was standing over the ball for so long, letting them get set so they could spike the ball. So really, it should have been 35-0. But Kings Mountain.
Hold on, Hunter. I want to read something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we go on from that.
Yeah.
Talking about the play. Let's see. Talking to Carson last night, I texted him about you guys' game. He was talking about that play there.
Yeah.
And I said, it was 35-0, but the refs blew a call according to the KTC announcers.
Oh, no, they did. It was a blatant pick play. It was a blatant pick play.
Yeah.
And Carson's like, you mean Hunter? I said, no, 2 calls and some funny clock business according to both of them. But
I say Jason was the one that pointed out the clock really should have been running, and we both saw the pick play because there's no way you missed
y'all both
that.
called that live. Y'all said, oh my gosh, offensive interference, flags out. They called it on the defense.
They called it on the defense. I'm like, what? Why would
defense didn't even touch anybody?
That was shocking to me, but. In all seriousness, Kobe Paysauer, we didn't call his name as much as we thought we would on the offensive side. The defensive side, because we gave him defensive player of the game.
Right.
Because
he's made some big plays
he
last
has
few
made
weeks.
some big plays. Last week against Statesville, he had a 99-yard interception return.
Has he been playing defense
all year?
More in the playoffs, you think?
Yes, I believe he's been playing defensive back more in the playoffs. One, because
he's their best hands guy.
He's their best hands guy, but you can't teach his speed either.
Yeah.
He hawks the ball down. He really does.
And the thing is, if you have someone what's really deadly, and I'll say as a safety, is a ball hawk.
Yeah.
And if you've got someone who can also be at the highest point, he's a high school quarterback. So a lot of times the ball will sail a little bit, get a little high, it'll float a little times. He can get a lot of those extra interceptions. I didn't see that one in person that you did, the one-hander 99-yarder, but.
Yeah, that one. It was kind of telegraphed. I mean, it had a little bit of mustard on it, but he grabbed that thing one-handed, and that's when I knew. My microphone fell down.
Tighten it up a little bit. There's a screw right around in there somewhere.
There it is. Sorry, everybody listening.
So, when Ken sits here on Wednesdays, he's got to have it a lot higher than you do.
Higher. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, but Kobe, that's when I knew, though, when he had that 99-yard reception, I said, this kid, of course, we all knew he's good. I said, this kid's special. I looked at the principal at Statesville and said, he's special. But against Northwest Cabarrus last night, every touchdown that Kings Mountain scored was on the ground. Kalen Wade had 5 rushing touchdowns. 4 of them were from the 1-yard line. But, I mean, he was the one that really moved him down there. And I'll say this. I watched Hunter Huss play against Kings Mountain. I've watched Kings Mountain all year. Kalen Wade might be the best dual-threat quarterback in the West.
That's what I've been trying to say. He
might be the best dual-threat quarterback in the West. And he's deceptive with his size. He's not a very kid. He's not a big kid that when he walks on the field, you're like, oh wow. He's not, but he's strong. He's not afraid to lower his shoulder. He had his last touchdown run he had last night. He was heading to the goal line, and you would think most quarterbacks, they would be like, all right, I'm going to step out of bounds right here. He lowered his shoulder, and he put that defensive back on his back. He did. He lowered his shoulder to get that extra. He wanted
I'm sure
it.
Coach
He
Lloyd
wanted it
did
more.
not like that at all.
That's what I was saying. Because that was the third time he had done that night.
Yeah.
And the second time he did that, he had to come out of play because he was pretty rattled. And I'm thinking, dude, don't hurt that shoulder. Don't hurt yourself because you still got the next game after. So I think that's who Catholic is probably going to try and key in on most, because they know what's going to happen with Kobe Pacehour. The only way Kobe Pacehour gets the ball is if Kalen Wade gives it to him.
Let me give you Kalen Wade's numbers last night, see what y'all think. 11 of 15, 210 passing yards, 21 rushes, 117 rush yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. And that's what everybody don't expect, is how fast he is out there. And it's
always fast.
You just got to think about this offense covering it, Terry. You got a receiver, you got to double. You have a quarterback you have to spy, and you have a running back who needs 2 people to bring down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I didn't even get to
how do you
Kalen
defend
Mack.
that, Terry? All your years of coaching, how would you look at that going in that you got to do all 3 of those things at the same time? It's like playing, the Panthers, if they had the best receiver in the NFL and a running back you couldn't tackle.
When you're coming into this, and that's what I was trying to think of as y'all were talking. What's the difference in coming up in this game against Charlotte Catholic? Well, Charlotte Catholic pretty much stopped Zowas. They pretty much stopped every running back that Hunter Huss had. I mean, Little John only had like 36 yards.
Little John, he had a 14-yard touchdown run, but that was about it.
That's what I'm saying. And when you start thinking about that, do we say that Kings Mountain's better talented in them other spots for them to have to stop? It's going to be huge because Wade's going to have to be exceptional.
Yeah.
And I think he can be. And this is
Terry,
where
hold
going.
on. 11 of 15.
Yeah.
That's
210 yards.
That's not
And
against
see, this
Charlotte
is.
Catholic.
But let me say this as well.
117 rushing yards.
Carson said that.
Call him Hunter. I dare you. I dare you.
No, Carson said that that Charlotte Catholic can really control the middle of the field. Well, that's great and all, but if they can't set the edge on Pacehour,
it doesn't matter.
if they can't set the edge, especially on Wade, because Rakalen Mack side to side is not going to get far. So you can stop Rakalen Mack because he's going to just try and go up through the trenches. But after a while, he's going to wear on you because he loves contact.
Think about that. The work the middle linebacker has to do. He has to be fast enough to run down Kalen Wade and big enough to be able to wrap up.
So this is the thing.
Mack running
this
right
is the
at
thing
you
that I took,
with wide splits on the line.
And this is what I took mostly though from what Carson said about Charlotte Catholic is how they rely more on their defense and offense comes second. Well, of course, with Kings Mountain, offense comes first, but defense is about 1A. If offense is 1, defense is about 1A. Because that score up there says 49-28. Really, it should be 49-14 because the second touchdown that should have been called back, the flag was thrown on a block in the back, and then they pick it up. I mean, it was blatant as day. So it should be 49-14. If anything, it could be 49-7. If they take away that touchdown right there before it ends the half. But I'm just saying, so if Charlotte Catholic, if offense comes second to them, then Kings Mountain's got the biggest chance in the world because Kings Mountain defense is no slouch. They're no slouch. I don't know.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that.
I think it's just a wear and tear of what's going to happen because I think Charlotte Catholic just steadily wore Hunter Huss down.
Well, you could say the same thing about how Kings Mountain did with Northwest Cabarrus because Rakalen Mack was not getting a lot of yards on each carry. He was getting maybe initially to the line of scrimmage a yard or two, but they kept feeding him.
They went to halftime, and again, what was it, Hunter? I think Hunter Huss had 94 yards total offense, where Charlotte Catholic had 76 or 74.
Yeah.
But they were up 14-0.
Yep.
And
but
that
wasn't it
helped
off of special teams?
That's what I'm saying. So that means a difference. But,
But I can't, and I'll be honest, we can't necessarily say that Charlotte Catholic's going to go into this game against Kings Mountain and get those special teams plays.
No,
on the
it's
punt
not
side.
something,
So if you take that away, What was it? The 2 off of special teams. That's 14-7 against Hunter Huss.
I guess when I sit back, though, I can continue to think, and don't get me wrong, I'm pulling for Kings Mountain. I want Lloyd and them to do everything they can.
I think
but you're playing a 4-time state champion for
I was about to say,
2004.
I think it's the name. I think it's the name that you're referring to. Now, don't get me wrong. I respect the name, too.
Terry
we all know in this
Scared.
area.
No,
we
I'm
all
not
know
scared.
in this
Terry
area
Scared.
Charlotte Catholic.
I know what Charlotte Catholic can do.
If you're
They
in the
proved
state,
it.
Let me put it this way. Let me fill the Kings Mountain and people in better.
Yeah.
I've been on Cherryville teams that beat Charlotte Catholic. Y'all be good.
Well, West
Y'all be
Lincoln
good.
did too, but
West Lincoln beat them. West Lincoln beat them.
Let's just remember, if you're from the western part of the state, shoot, even if you're from the entire state of North Carolina, you know who Charlotte Catholic is.
Yeah, they do.
But Kings Mountain, I don't think they're afraid at all.
Well, I hope
Charlotte
not. I
Catholic.
want them to win.
So far, Kings Mountain in this playoff run has won back-to-back road games.
Yeah.
All right,
and
guys.
Both seeds were higher, so.
We got to take a quick break. We'll finish up our high school coverage in just a few minutes. We'll be back on KTCBroadcasting.com.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as I count down the week's top 30 with my co-host Eric Church, who recently had the chance to sing with Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce, and he calls me up and, hey, you want to do work on the highway? I said, yeah, I got Born USA album, I've learned it, I know it. And we started playing it.
That's Eric Church this week on Country Countdown USA.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Helton, Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country, 1590 AM WCSL, 92.3 FM, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Join KTC Broadcasting for the live broadcast of this year's Gastonia Christmas Parade this Sunday afternoon, December 2nd. Our broadcast will begin at 3:45 p.m. with the parade at 4 p.m. Brought to you by Full Throttle Power Sports on Indian Walk in Gastonia, by Carolina Trust Bank on South New Oak Road, Gastonia, by Ronaldo Auto Mall, Highway 74 East in Shelby, by West End Sales, Highway 18 North in Vale, by Auto Parts U Pull on County Home Road in Shelby, by All Care Insurance Agency in Belmont and Shelby, and by Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. To watch the parade, just go to YouTube and search Gastonia Christmas Parade or go to ktcbroadcasting.com. Join us this Sunday at 3:45 p.m. for this year's Gastonia Christmas Parade.
What's that howling?
Nothing to be afraid of. This is Coyote Tractor Country, mister. That howling just means somebody's bought another hard-working Coyote tractor.
If you're in the market for a hard-working, affordable 20 to 90 horsepower compact tractor, test drive a Coyote today.
You heard the man. Now get going. You're burning daylight, mister. Visit www.kioti.com.
Your Coyote dealer is West End Sales, Highway 1827 intersection in Vale.
It's time to play at the Green Meadows Golf Course on Kelly Road in Mount Holly. Play and ride Monday through Friday for $25. Weekends just $30. Seniors ride and play Monday through Friday for $20. And every Wednesday is Ladies' Day. Ladies play and ride for just $15. So make your tee time now by calling the Green Meadows Golf Course, 704-827-9264. Green Meadows Golf Course, 957 Kelly Road in Mount Holly.
Some people don't know what a credit union is. It's not a secret club. In fact, the only secret about a credit union is that it's better than a bank. Carolina Federal Credit Union offers the area's best rates, lower fees, and better service.
I'm not just a number, I'm a member.
My credit union helped me get financially fit.
Our credit union helps our family out every day.
My credit union.
My credit union.
My credit union.
It's Carolina Federal Credit Union. Contact Carolina Federal Credit Union today and learn the secret firsthand.
Now's the time to buy your new Kubota from Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Right now, pay zero money down. Get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Come on in now for all the details. All for good on the Kubota BX Series, the Kubota B Series, the Kubota L Series, and the Kubota MX Series tractors. Again, 0 money down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Get your new Kubota today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain.
Saturday Sports Talk brought to you by Campers Inn RV of Kings Mountain. Breakfast by Mitchum's Kitchen Sports Talk. I'm Kevin Hastings. Welcome Terry Reinhardt, Carson, Dr. Hunter Yancey. Welcome back to KTC Broadcast. You're listening on WCSL 1590 AM, 92.3 FM in Cherryville. In Lincoln County, WLON 1050 AM, 107.5 FM. And then we've got, you Cleveland County folks can listen to us on WCSL 1590 AM and 92.3 as well. We've got Friday Night Football coming up next Friday night. We've got Kings Mountain and Charlotte Catholic. That'll be on WCSL 92.3 FM if you listen to that right now. If you're on the Lincoln County station next week, you're going to hear West Lincoln at Cherryville basketball. They played last night. Cherryville won. I don't have the final score. I can get you that in just a little bit. Terry might. I don't know if he does. He's got his magical paper in there. He was reading in the truck this morning. And then we also have Shelby will be going up to High Brighton next Friday night with Brent Jones and Brent Jones. I said that wrong. Jeff Jones and Brent Pasco. Hunter will be Hunter will be in Charlotte with Jason Sane. I think I might make the trip down for that one.
I think
I went to High Brighton last year. I don't want to be the bad luck charm for the Golden Lions.
In if we should do a live. If we should do a live.
You talk about the pregame show next Friday?
The pregame show live from Charlotte Catholic. It'll be our own little high school game day.
We could. Now, Hunter, I don't know if Hunter...
Giveaways, everything.
Hunter, I don't know if you and Carson remember this, but back in the days when we started doing video, we moved the pregame show to actually to the stadiums and did game days out of our broadcast trucks and everything.
That's a fantastic idea.
Well, the only problem is logistics. You take up big parking space, you need power, time, all that stuff.
We can do that. Listen, Charlotte Catholic.
Hunter, you sell me a couple of sponsors. We'll talk about it.
There's a big like a strip mall sort of right across the street from Catholic. We could go do it over there.
Yep. We could do it from the top of the parking deck.
Yeah.
The world is our oyster. Okay?
That's
we can
where
do
we want.
whatever we want.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
I think I've got some friends who have some business offices maybe downtown Charlotte. We may be able to get us a overhead view of the city for the pregame show.
I'm just saying, idea-wise, it's great because this is the 3A West final.
Right.
And it's not every day that you have a team going down there to play such a team revered as Charlotte Catholic.
Terry, does my memory serve right? Did these two teams play last year?
They were going to.
If
Kings Mountain lost to J.M. Robinson.
Oh, okay. I just thought I'd remembered either last year or the year before. We had this conversation a little bit before.
I think a lot of people presumed they were going to.
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I remember anyway.
Well, you can't presume everything, can you?
You know what?
Can't assume. You know what that means.
Yeah, boy.
It makes a bad word out of you and me, baby.
Is it a bad word? I don't know.
Well, it depends.
I mean, I don't think
it depends if we're using it biblically.
There's some donkeys that would disagree.
That's what I'm saying. If you're using it in a biblical sense,
is it part of the 7 dirty words by George Carlin?
It's not.
No, it's not.
Then I think it's acceptable. Who's going to drop the first one?
Yeah, not Terry.
Well, I mean, speaking of them games, don't forget about the other games. She'll be going to High.
We're about to get to that 2A matchup. But first, before we talk about those 2A matchups, I've got to do our top 10 update. Oh, sorry, Carson.
Yeah. I'm
We're going to start at 20 and go from there. Everybody, our power poll this year. You accumulate power points in the regular season, and that sets you up for the
power.
And that sets you up for the postseason. You get 1 point for a 1A victory, 2 for a 2, 3 for a 3, and 4 for a 4A victory. In the postseason, we give you a bonus point for postseason victories. Now, if you lose to a 1A, you lose 3 points, lose to a 2, 2, 3, 1, and 4A, 0 points. We do not change any points for the postseason on losses. Now, in the way the poll works, however, once the postseason starts and you lose, you go back in the poll and you cannot advance any further. So the power points go out of the way once you've been knocked out, and it's ranked by the round. So, and the reason we do this, folks, is it's not a power poll per se of which teams that we think are better. And, Dennis was in here last night, Terry, and we all upset about my power poll because Thomas Jefferson is ahead of Crest. And he said Crest would beat Thomas Jefferson, and he might be right. But what he's wrong about is that Crest did not have a better season than Thomas Jefferson. Let me ask Hunter, Hunter, would you rather go 9-4 and finish second in your conference and get beat in the second round, or go 11-0 in the regular season, win your conference, and make it to the third round of the playoffs?
I'm going to take B, 11-0.
So that's the way the poll is supposed to work.
Yeah.
You are more accomplished, so you advance further. So Thomas Jefferson does it. It will be in front of Crest and South Point. So don't you folks call me and get mad. It's just how it works out. If you want to go further in the poll, if the poll hurts your feelings, your team should win more, right, Terry?
That's how it's supposed to work.
All right, here we go.
Win.
Here we go. Just win, baby.
Just
At
win.
number 20, Forest View, they did not make the playoffs. They're a first team in the poll. They did not make the playoffs. At number 20, they finished the season 3-8. Number 19 in the power poll finishing the season is the Cherryville Iron Man, 7-5 on the season. Also at 7-5 on the season, they had more power points. Mountain Island Charter at number 18. Number 17, the Burns Bulldogs finished the season 4-8, 1 power point. Number 16, Ashbrook Green Wave, 7 power points. They're 5-7 on the season. Stuart Kramer, number 15, 9 power points, 8-4 on the season. Maiden, 9 power points, 8-4 on the season as well. They won the tiebreaker there. West Lincoln, number 13, they finished with 11 power points, 9-3 season. Congratulations to them. One of the best seasons ever. Community School of Davidson, 7-6 with -8 power points. Number 12 is who they are. Number 11, right outside the top 10, the Yellow Jackets fall this year. Once again, it's all the offensive lines. Coach Philip Russ, it's your fault. Last year, I think they finished like 4th or 5th. Now they're outside the top 10. I don't know what's going on there. They got to fix that. -7 power points. Bessemer City, however, they do finish with a winning record and make Terry's magic list of 7-win teams 7-6 on the season. Yellow Jackets do finish. Congratulations on for a winning season. They're supposed to get a big, nice scoreboard this year. Apparently, it won't be ready for football. I told Philip, see what you guys think. They need to give him an extra remote control relay, and they'll just use it for baseball.
I mean, why not?
If you can see it from the baseball field, use the video scoreboard for that. I tell him I'll hook him up with some stuff on that. All right, top 10 guys. Here we go. Number 10, the East Lincoln Mustangs finished the season 6-7, 2 power points. Let's go back 2 spots. Community School of Davidson and Bessemer City all won in the first round. So why is West Lincoln behind Community School of Davidson and Bessemer? If you're wondering how those ended up behind them, West Lincoln, Maiden, Kramer, Ashbrook, Burns, Mountain Island, and Cherryville, they all lost in the first round, so they fall back to the furthest pack in the power poll. It's basically like getting lapped in a race, if that makes any sense to you. All right, next is East Lincoln at 10. Number 9, the East Rutherford Cavaliers. They finished the season at 10-3, 16 power points. Number 8, South Point, 16 power points. They finished they win the tiebreaker. They beat East Rutherford head to head there. They're the number 8 spot. Finished the season at 9-4. Also finishing the season 9-4 is Crest. However, they had 23 power points, so they end up in the number 7 spot. Finishing the season in the 6th spot, Thomas Jefferson, 11-1. Number 6, Thomas Jefferson. Congratulations on the season that you guys had up there in Rutherford County. Nora, how about that season, Terry? Is that their best season of all time? We've had a couple that we've talked about this year. Does that qualify?
Now, Coach Beam was there, and they won 10 games, and now Nick Basil, he's won 10 games. Only the second time in school history.
Who did they lose to that time?
I'd have to go back and look.
Okay.
But, I mean, a great season there for them, though.
All right. That's number 5. So North Lincoln makes the top 5 in the What's Up Shopper Power Poll here in KTC Broadcasting, eliminated in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I want to tell you something that he said. He said that Shelby just outplayed them. We got to get to their potential. He says they were much better than us, and that's where I need our program to go. So, and he's going to push for that. If he's down there, that's what they look at, and that's what he's going to go back to all the time. This is the level we need to be at.
We're going to talk about that game in just a few minutes. I got some words to say about the North Lincoln season and the future for them as well on that. 24 with 24 power points, finishing at number 4 in the top 5. So guys, coming into this season, I'm taking the top 5. Well, let's go top 6. I got Thomas Jefferson, North Lincoln, and Bandies. Would any of y'all have told me I was crazy?
We'd have probably told you was okay with Thomas Jefferson, but the other two,
top 6,
we'd have probably said no way.
Yeah. So Bandies, Hunter, your Trojans, one of their best seasons ever. Is this their best season ever, Terry? 12-2, I know finishing the number 4 on our power poll doesn't really.
No.
I don't know if they put that in their
No.
thing.
They've been all the way to the state championships. So I mean,
You never know. Hey, some of the best teams never won a Super Bowl. You know.
Oh, I agree there. Now I could go back,
You can look-
especially on Lincoln's side, and give you a few names that played through that history, and they never won a state championship while them guys were there.
Right.
You know. So.
Tar Heel fans will tell you some of the best teams that they won the championships. Some of the teams that won the championships couldn't come close to beating some of the teams that couldn't.
Talk about
same thing.
Bandies. I mean, got big names that came out of Bandies. You know,
Yep.
I mean, the years when Stanley Daniels was there. But we had some great years back in the day.
Congratulations to
My
Ron
dad
Howard.
tells me about them when he was there. You know, they were really good in football. Now I'm just happy to see, because when I was in high school, kind of like how Carson was talking about Alfred Huss when he was in high school. You know, we were decent, but
Mediocre more than anything.
at
Yeah.
most. Sometimes we'd make the playoffs, but never really get past the first round. So
Yeah,
to be able to see the team at least go to the third round on the brink of making a final berth in the West, I mean, that's you have nothing to hang your hat on because you lost to a team that, you know, has been there before and won it the year before. I think your team has got a lot going forward. I know losing that big back is going to be hard, Ethan Howard. I know that's going to be a lot of the offense gone as he graduates. But this is experience that you can take into next year.
Yeah, and Coach Eanes, I know we keep saying about what Nick Basil's done, but Coach Eanes, what a job he did. I mean, they're conference champions and everything. I mean, so.
All right, that takes us so they're number 4. Number 3, Carson Dockery, your Hunter Huskies, best season ever, 39 power points, 13-1 overall. Future looks pretty good for them. You want to say some nice, kind words to the Husky Nation on the part of their season?
I mean, obviously, you know, it is the best season ever. Arguably the best team ever for Hunter Huss as far as football goes. You're going to lose some important guys. You're going to lose Tony Davis. You're going to lose Prince Bima, a couple other guys on offense. Zoe Wallace, though, he's coming back. Malik Corey's coming back. You've got Dontavius Nash coming back on the defensive side of the football. So, I mean, it's not like, you know, some teams that are very senior dependent. I mean, there are key senior guys that were on that team, but it's not. You're not losing 20 seniors that were all very important to you. You're losing 15 to 20, and honestly, 8 are really important to you. But you've got Zoe Wallace, a quarterback, coming back. Malik Corey is a sophomore, like I said. There's lots of guys who are going to be coming back for this Hunter Huss team. I think. 19, that is a lot, but you've still, like to say, you've got important skill positions that aren't seniors too. But like to say, the seniors that you are losing, you've got, I mean, 2 D1 guys, top D1 guys in Tony Davis and Prince Bima that are gone. But, you know, I think this, you know, sometimes you have these seasons and they can be outliers, but I think this is a start for Huss. This is something that Coach McCoy is that's gonna be an expectation now. It's not gonna be, oh, this is a surprise. Oh, okay, this was nice, but next year we're not gonna, you know, guarantee. No, I think McCoy, he's gonna have that's gonna be the frame of mind now. Is, you know, we have to be a good team. We want to win. You know, the only thing that the Huss has really won state champ. You've won them in basketball more than anything. You've got a couple of wrestling ones, but. You know, I don't think we've ever even gone to a state championship for football. And that's something that's probably the next step. Obviously, you want to win it, but one step at a time. And I think they've got the opportunity to get there at some point.
You know, I think it looks good for them. You got your quarterback coming back, so
yeah,
that helps. When you're anytime in these when these teams have had state championship runs, the consistency at quarterback helps. But, you know, you look at Shelby, they've run cut 3-4 in there, and it hadn't mattered. So if your defense can keep up what it's doing, Carson, and your quarterback is steady, you're going to have a good team again next year as well. You know, you don't think about, you think about you got your returning starters, but you don't count the 9th and 10th graders are going to have growth spurts, and pump the iron. That not necessarily you're going to add to the offense, but you can add bodies to a defense that if you lose bodies.
Well, that and your feeder programs now, if you're Hunter Huss, is Southwest. You got a little bit of Greer. and you got York Chester and Southwest just came off a season undefeated Gaston County middle school football championship where I don't think they lost, or every game they won by 20.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've got, like you said, you've got guys that are coming through the line, and I mean it's one of those things. I think, like we talk about, Coach McCoy has something going, and not only that, it's, South Point. I think a lot of the reason a team like South Point is so good is they've got the Optimus system figured out. Those kids have played that same offense since they were 6 years old, playing Mighty Mites, and now there's a Husky Optimist program at Huss, and that's something Coach McCoy is he's part of, and that's something that came along. I mean, I think maybe a year or two before he was there, and so that's something where Huss might not have an identity like the Red Bone or anything like that, but you get to know these kids younger. And you know who's coming up, and I think that's as important.
I tell you what does help, as identity-wise, and for that, Carson and the kids and everything. And you don't realize, or some people don't realize, that these kids do look up to these high school athletes. If they go to the games, their parents do actually take them to the games. I don't know if they do anymore as much as they are in these. They are in their smartphones and whatever nowadays. But I know growing up, playing on the Park Warner teams, you wore your jerseys on Fridays just like the high school team did. And you'd go to the game on Friday nights, and
you were looking forward to the day when you were going to be on.
I know I was more connected to it because with the radio station and everything, so I knew that all the names and everything, maybe more than a lot of the other kids do. But there's a ton of other kids that like, hey, we're going to see Ralph Roberts play. It doesn't matter what sport you're going to go see him play: basketball, football, baseball, and so like Carson's saying, if you're identifying with that, if I'm wearing the same jersey as him, instead of wearing a Cramerton football Pop Warner jersey or a Stanley Blue Devil jersey, and now you're wearing a Huss jersey or I don't know what they name their team over there in that area. It does give you more of identification, and I do think that the Gastonia schools, with the way they've been adding and building around there, that it does add to a mix that you don't have the same school pride you do in the rural areas, to where, because if you move a street over, you're in another high school. If your grandmother moved a street over, so now you got 3 different generations at 3 different high schools, and then there's no pride in going back. Who's going to go see the games? And I think that does create a thing, but that is a good thing at Huss, and I think they've had an outstanding year, and good luck to them going forward. 13-1. I know that they had high expectations and thought they might be going to a state championship, and we thought they might be too with this defense. But Charlotte Catholic put them on them. That leaves us our final two. 11-3, 24 power points right now. The Shelby Golden Lions, what a season. They've turned it around, Terry, after a slow start. A lot of people had them dead and buried over there. Some people had the coach fired. And here we are, the 4-time state coach champions back in the Western Conference Finals. And I wonder if those folks are regretting their wanting the coach of the rings fired.
Yeah, way back when they were 1-3, and I think, did we even have them in our power poll? If they were number 20.
They were. I think they had dropped to 18 or something.
Somewhere right in there.
They hadn't dropped. They never dropped out of the top 20. I don't think.
But what a turnaround.
I can go look in the break.
But, great year for Coach Ware. He's proven again, and. They're making that trip up to High Brighton. And
problem is nightmares thinking about this week, I think, because it was kind of heartbreaking, kind of like what just happened to us when they went up there. I think they thought they should have won up there last year, and it didn't happen. And this year, I think anybody that remembered it on that team's got to get that out of their heads of what happened last year, don't you think? It's totally different teams. That team might not be anywhere as good as they were last year. We don't know, especially with the seeding.
Has nothing to lose.
Oh yeah,
they're not the defending champions. High Brighton is. High Brighton's the one's got everything to lose.
Right at home. So Shelby's number 2, number 1. The Kings Mountain Mountaineers have moved back into the number 1 spot. They started. I think they got up there earlier, and then they lost, and then Huss, of course, never lost, and jumps up in the 1 spot and stayed there. So Mountaineers 12-2 on the season, outstanding year. We've talked about them quite a bit today. All right, real quick, I want to do some notes real quick before we get out of here in our break. North Lincoln, I did want to say some things about that, Terry. Going forward, finishing in our top 5 here. I think what's great for them and outstanding for them, and I can't feel any more better for them. This is a first. He's not a first-year coach himself, but he's, their coach left them, kind of, they didn't know it's going to happen until it happened. Later on, said wasn't. I don't think it was a planned on type thing there. If they had known that, and I could be wrong, but anyway, so they have to replace the coach. He comes in there and has the ties for the second best, season in school history. Now, also look at that.
Comes in June, y'all.
This is late, and turns around that way. So you're talking about a minute ago about how they've got to look at Shelby and say this is what we got to do, and I think they got so much experience this year, winning a close game against West Lincoln, winning. Barely getting beat by Bandies, and then Shelby showing them. So they say, well, so if they can sit there and look in the mirrors and be honest with themselves, hey, we came in second, right behind Bandies, and then Shelby's still alive, and they beat them all. So that's where we got to go. But they saw it on the field of themselves. It's not a dream. It's not on video. It's not, tape that we got to go and say, hey, we got to be as good as Shelby. Can we be? They were on the field. So those players that were actually there, they have to all in believe in what's going on right now over there between the coach and actually being on the field of Shelby there in the third round. That if I do this, and that, we can compete with him.
Well, the Hunter Huss, not Hunter Huss. Listen to me. Bandies kind of reminds me of a West Lincoln. West Lincoln goes back and they think of those 7-6 loss to North Lincoln. Mm-hmm. Hey, if we had won that one, we would not have to have played Shelby in round one.
As far as round
Bandies,
3.
Bandies going to sit back and say, you know what? We had Hickory beat.
Yeah.
If we hadn't let Hickory come back on us, maybe that would have given us somebody different to have to played. There's a lot of things you can look at to change just games, and people think games don't mean nothing. Every game is important.
If Bandies would have won the Hickory game, they could have been the 1 seed possibly.
Possibility, that's what I'm
and
saying.
That would have been the second round matchup with North or West Lincoln in the second round. These seeds, I just think, and we mentioned with the 6 and 7 team conferences, and then you split them up again and double
I
split
said
them.
it multiple times last night. The Kings Mountain score can show you, especially what it was at halftime. It was 35-0 or 35-7 at half against the number 1 seed. It shows you seeding really doesn't mean anything when it comes playoff time. Sometimes seeding is a lie, and and I'll tell you what, Northwest Cabarrus probably had a great season, but I don't think they've seen anybody like this 3-headed monster that they have going on here at Kings Mountain. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's just how it is with anybody when it comes playoff time. Because like you said, even Pisgah was upset round 1 against East Lincoln. So just because
in the greatest conference in the world, isn't that right there?
And they still have somebody left.
I'll just end it like this: like, hey, if you got high schools players, just because you have a low seed, don't go in there with your heads down saying, oh, we don't have a chance.
Right.
You have a chance because sometimes the team seated above you, really, they're, how we like to say, you like to say the SEC is always overranked. Maybe they're just overranked.
It's not a true seedings. They're really not because of the way they split them. You play 2As all season, then you don't play the same 2As. So it does mess that up.
Yeah, and think of it. Last night, again, you had 16 games, 10 underseeded teams won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Out of the 16.
All right, guys, that's our top 10. That's our scores. Let's give the scores real quick. I'm going to get ready for a break, and then we're going to come back. We got to talk college football, NFL, and more.
Well, we can. Into 1A is Robbinsville 32, Thomas Jefferson 13. Murphy over Mitchell 33-29. East Surrey, no trouble, Mount Airy 40-0. And Starmount 21, Polk County 7.
It was Brevard over Wheatmore 20-13. Reedsville stays alive over Mountain Heritage 21-14. Shelby handles North Lincoln 35-7, and High Brighton over Bandies 34-15.
It was Mount Tabor over AC Reynolds 24-21. Weddington on top of the number 1 seed Watauga 42-14. That's a big score right there for Weddington. Congratulations to Weddington. Unfortunate loss for Hunter Huss, but you had a great season as well. Charlotte Catholic 28-7 over Hunter Huss, and you will see Charlotte Catholic next week as well because Kings Mountain won their matchup against Northwest Cabarrus 49-28, and they will be traveling to take on Charlotte Catholic at Charlotte Catholic.
And Kevin, one other thing, we had some people mentioning about the Cherryville and West Lincoln basketball scores. Cherryville did defeat West Lincoln in the boys' action 68-50. But on the girls' side, West Lincoln won 57-18.
Congratulations, both those teams will have basketball action next Friday night, WLON. Milton Baker and Danny Akers is going to have that game from Cherryville, folks. So it's going to be kind of a weird, because we got to get our Kings Mountain folks a radio signal they can hear over there. So we're putting them on the Cherryville station. So you Cherryville folks and Lincoln County folks want to listen to that WLON Cherryville game. It'll actually be WLON next Friday night. Next Friday night, Carson, I guess you'll be in here. We're going to talk about. I guess we'll talk about maybe doing a pregame. So we'll discuss that. But that would assume a lot of logistics. Terry, I guess you're involved in that too. Let's see. Hunter will be at Charlotte Catholic.
Come on, afterthought.
Hunter will be over at Charlotte Catholic with Jason Sane for Kings Mountain at Charlotte Catholic on WCSL. And then on WHS, of course, Shelby at High Brighton, the rematch from last year. And we'll have that on WOHS. Today, Sports Today, Clemson at Pittsburgh football, ACC Championship. We're going to talk about that and more. We'll be back in a few minutes on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Dr. John L. Cloninger III of Lincolnton will brighten your smiles with professional cosmetic dentistry and smile enhancement procedures for everyone. Even Duke fans will smile at the work of this Tar Heel. The office of Dr. John L. Cloninger III is located at 904 Doncha Drive. For an appointment, call 704-735-0765. That's 704-735-0765. And John III says best wishes to all high school athletes.
Maybe a punctuation mark on a career night.
Ronaldo Auto Mall in Shelby, in cooperation with the local Salvation Army of Shelby, wants to make this Christmas a little brighter for children in our area. Now through December 22nd, we're asking you to drop off an unwrapped toy and put it in the bed of the big GMC Sierra truck in the Ronaldo Auto Mall showroom. The toys will be distributed to underprivileged children in our area. Plus, if you'd like to make a donation, a Salvation Army kettle will be available as well. Drop your unwrapped toy off today at Ronaldo Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. And when you buy a new vehicle at Ronaldo Auto Mall through Christmas, you'll get a free Broad River ham from Morris Supermarket. Ronaldo Auto Mall, right below the Cleveland Mall.
Isolated and alone?
That's how millions of Americans feel while experiencing a mental health crisis.
Need to talk? Our providers love to listen.
Call us now at 1-888-235-HOPE.
That's 1-888-235-4673.
Partners, improving lives and strengthening communities in North Carolina. 1-888-235-HOPE. 235-4673.
Check out the great rates at Pine Mountain Golf Course. Play and ride weekdays for only $21. Seniors play and ride weekends for just $18. Or you can play and ride all day weekdays for only $28. Seniors can play and ride all day on weekends for $25. Make your tee time today by calling 828-433-4950. You'll love this challenging 18-hole par 68 course. The Pine Mountain Golf Course, adjacent to South Mountain State Park. Again, call 828-433-4950 for your tee time.
Buy more, save more at Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center in Shelby. Come in now and save up to $1,200 on select GE profile appliance packages, refrigerators, dishwashers, ranges, and microwave ovens. Let Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center put a package together for you. Again, save up to $1,200 on select GE profile appliance packages. Buy more, save more at Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center. 1241 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 on Saturday. There's no one like you. And Pandora Jewelry is opening up all kinds of possibilities to show that to the world with the new open bangle. Beautifully crafted from sterling silver with new interchangeable end caps. You can mix, match, and even have the freedom to customize like never before. Shop the new open bangle from Pandora Jewelry now and do see the wonderful Pandora Jewelry. Available at Facet Foundry Jewelry Studios, 530 South New Hope Road, Gastonia. Online at FacetFoundryJewelry.com.
Welcome back to Saturday morning sports talk show. Funny Nancy, Terry Reinhardt, Carson Godfrey, some man walking in here in a Kings Mountain hat. It's Kevin.
It's Mountaineer Saturday. Championship Saturday and boom.
play.
Them boys gonna freeze their bottoms off. Them boys gonna freeze. Well, that's actually probably decent.
Play in a real conference.
That's what happened last night when Weddington went up there. They got up there and they said, "My Lord, it's 70 degrees out here."
If the SEC would man up and start kicking teams out like Vanderbilt and Tennessee, and then inviting UNC Charlotte and Appalachian
Vanderbilt
into the
won
league,
a couple games
did
this
they?
year.
I don't know.
I seriously don't think Vanderbilt was the last team.
Really not this year.
year.
I usually guess I can usually close my eyes and say Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and that's usually
Kentucky.
and that's not this year.
No.
Is it?
Who did Vanderbilt play last week? I cannot remember, but I know they dogged them.
Yeah.
'Cause I flipped it over
I
and
think
they
it
were
was
up
Tennessee.
I think it was Tennessee.
Yeah.
Real quick, we didn't get into it.
And I picked Tennessee because they
We
beat
all
Kentucky
did.
the week
Yeah.
before.
Folks want to know where the state championship games are next week. Here's the schedule. To the best of my knowledge, I'm going to read this, I think, right. We think. The 1A will be Friday at 7:30 at Duke.
Or.
Hold on, well, I know. The
North Carolina State, we don't mind anybody coming there.
So the 1As are going to split up on one of the sites. One of them will be at Duke, one of them will be at NC State. So they play Friday 7:30, Saturday 3 and 7 there at wherever that is. That's kind of confusing. Anyway, let's move to the 2 and 3As. This is easy. 2A, NC State. If Shelby wins, they will be at NC State on Saturday, December 15th, either at 11 a.m., 2:30 p.m., or 6 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So 3 different spots. If it's in order, it says 2A, 2AA, or the 1A. If it's in that order, that would mean Shelby plays at 2:30. If that's just listed that way, that don't mean anything. So I don't know what to tell you. The 3A brackets, they'll be playing in Keenan at UNC Chapel Hill either on Friday at 7:30 or Saturday morning 11 a.m. What I would like to happen.
I think it should be a Friday night game. They ain't doing nothing down there at North Carolina football.
Well, what I would like to happen as far as the way KTC goes is Kings Mountain get that 7:30 Friday game.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can wake up and go to Raleigh and do the Shelby game is what I would like. So that if anyone's listening, whoever's in charge of that, referees, athletics, I don't know. Do that for me, guys, and we'll be happy with that. All right, guys, it's a little college football time. Hunter's got Dogs to talk about today. They're in a championship game.
Yeah.
I've got Mountaineers to talk about today. They're in a championship game. Tell you what's Wolfpack doing today?
Playing for the championship. That's why we play on championship Saturday. North Carolina State against East Carolina today.
Oh, okay.
Hey, they knew North Carolina State should be in this championship, so we got a game scheduled for us to play in.
ECU new coach. They fired Scotty Montgomery.
Sure did.
And they're in the mix of all the mess with UNC Charlotte, who had thought they had a commitment from the coach, and then a couple other people I guess called him and offered him $500,000 more and backed out and went that way.
Okay.
You know,
your job. You got to go where the money's at.
My point of the situation is Terry, don't blame me for that, but you could also say what.
Read that second headline.
It says how. It don't say they will.
Least. Anyway, what I was gonna say is that it doesn't matter which school he chooses. He's going to be fired or move on in 3 or 4 years anyway. It's not like these coaches at these schools like that are going to sit down and then what expectations do you have at ECU, like or UNC or Duke or North Carolina or Appalachian? Like, what honestly expectations do you have when you hire these coaches, considering your history and what you're up against in the state and the conferences?
If he went to UNC Charlotte, I think he's got plenty of time. I think you got 3 to 5 years, and if nothing changes and you're still at a win total of 3 or 4 games year after year after year, then I think they're going to get rid of. If you go to East Carolina, I think it's a little step up, and that's probably why more money comes with it, but they're going to want more out of him. You're still going to have your 3 to 5 years, but if nothing is progressing to better each year, and that's what each of them have to say, if you go there, and I don't know how many games East Carolina won. I don't think 2 this year is all they won. But if he goes there and next year he wins 3, and then the next year he wins 4 or 5, as long as it's a progression to the right place.
I don't know about that. Here's what I think about the situation. If UNCC, he can win 3 to 5, 6 games and keep his job, live in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Or he has to win 6 to 8 games, 6 to 9 games in Greenville. So
I think he might be looking at it as well as, East Carolina's the more established football program. He probably won't have as hard of a time getting recruits to come and play at East Carolina. So he's thinking I maybe have a better chance of winning here at ECU.
Charlotte's
going to
have to do what Carolina did and have now redone, is get a coach like Mac Brown and overpay.
Yeah.
What Carolina did, and I'm talking about Carolina did in the '90s too. Is get a coach like that, to where you can get the recruits, get the program going, and then you can add to the stadium and all that other stuff later. You got to start winning these games first. Appalachia's trying to work on that. Have been working on it.
You can call me crazy, because I wanted this coach, and if he's still on the market, like I hear that he is, because there's a rumor about the USC job, Kingsbury. If I'm UNC Charlotte, what do I have to lose offering Kingsbury a job down here in
They
Charlotte?
can afford to offer him triple the money.
That's what I'm saying.
Really,
they can offer him anything. If you want to establish yourself as a football school in a state that is very divided amongst football programs, okay, where it's already getting demolished by SEC and ACC recruits, not to mention the Big Ten comes down in here as well, you got to make a big splash. You got to make a big splash.
Speaking of UNCC, watching their basketball stadium with nobody in it, Terry, is that not insane? Thinking about how it used to be, they built that
Maxwell
thing. They built that thing with the intent of it being full. And I've been to I've been to a game over there before when it was when there were a lot of people when it first opened and stuff. And now it looks like an Appalachian game in basketball. No offense to my school.
I'll say this,
packed the house for basketball. For when Western came, I remember seeing Kevin Martin. I don't know if you guys remember him play at Western. Come in that. Remember him? That place was packed then. But I hope the UNCC program could, maybe the football program could maybe even boost the basketball in that sense.
The football
Charlotte should be a
program
good
as well.
recruiting bed.
Football program's pretty dead too, getting people in the stadium. And I'll tell you a couple reasons why. I was talking with a former teacher of mine. He went to UNC Charlotte for his teaching degree. It was there in
I'm gonna guess and see what he says. A lot of transits.
What do you mean?
Am I guessing? Or is that the word?
Transfers?
No, people that drive to the school.
Commuters.
A bunch of commuters. Yeah, it's a bunch of commuters most of the time. But also what it is, we were talking because his son goes to Appalachian State, and they traveled down when App State played UNC Charlotte.
Right.
And he said there are more App State fans at the game than Charlotte's fans. I said, well, there are more App State fans that go to Charlotte than there are Charlotte football fans.
Yeah.
And the reason is, and he made a good point to me, he said the city of Charlotte itself does not promote that school at all. No. When you're in Chapel Hill, when you're in Boone, when you're in Raleigh,
that's all there is.
They are football. They are college towns.
Well, there's no competition.
But there's no competition in Charlotte either, college-wise.
But that's the thing, though, is you have other things besides. You've got the Panthers, you've got Hornets, you've got professional sports in Boone and in Chapel Hill.
But I want you to think about it. The only one that's been successful out of all of them is the Panthers. But even they're backsliding. You have got, if you are UNC Charlotte, you got to, and if you want your athletic programs to grow. The Panthers are still selling tickets
because they got PSLs that people have to show up.
Yeah, but if you are UNC Charlotte and you want to grow your not only football program, but your basketball programs in the past have not been awful. They've been competitive. Their baseball team is very good. Their soccer team is fantastic. It's always ranked in the top 10, top 15 in the nation. Mm-hmm. So you just got to promote it like all these college towns too. I get it. Charlotte has got the Panthers. It's got the Hornets.
It's got Charlotte. There are things to do. It's not just competition with sports. It's competition with entertainment.
With anything.
With anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the other thing
during the day on a Saturday.
No.
That's what I'm saying. What do you have to do during the day on a Saturday besides just sit around?
UNC Charlotte. Think about how Charlotte is set up. They love to put everything downtown. They want it to be walking distance.
No, there's no downtown Charlotte.
It's uptown. Yeah, I know. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
But UNC Charlotte, how close do you think UNC Charlotte is from uptown? It's about, really time-wise, as far as it takes about the same amount of time to get from UNC.
It's 20
Charlotte.
minutes. I used to live there.
UNC Charlotte to uptown, basically as it does to get from Gastonia.
Listen to this.
Without traffic.
So I used to live in northeast Charlotte, and I had a friend.
Terry, I don't think we need that many.
I had a friend who lived where Charlotte Catholic is, basically.
Yeah.
It took me the exact same time from northeast Charlotte and up near Concord Mills to get to his house that it did to get to here. I could go to work from Northeast Charlotte and get to here is the exact same time it took me to get to his house, and we both had Charlotte addresses because of the traffic and everything. So I did. Carson's trying to give you an idea on that. Looking over in Chapel Hill, Terry, you know what it is, don't you?
Yes! We can go home now. This is all we needed. Oh yeah!
This is return.
If they don't play this song like 30 times, if they don't play this song like 30 times, their first home game.
Here's Tar Heel fans, and I'm a Wolfpack fan.
Carson's a Duke fan.
You can let that play the whole time.
Well,
a coach who never won an ACC title, who never won a national championship title.
Whoa, now wait a minute.
Hold on.
Now that's a lie. He has two national championships.
At Texas,
not
at
hold
Carolina.
On. Does your head coach have a national championship
No, he
ring?
does not.
At all.
No.
At all. Okay.
Okay. Wow.
Winners attract winners, Terry.
Yeah, I hear you
okay.
on that.
If you ain't first, you're last.
They brought this man back, and then people can say what they want to.
21-2.
Yeah, they beat
NC State, Duke, and Wake Forest. Mac Brown was.
No, he was not.
That's
He
what I
was
heard on the
5-5 against State.
You can believe everything you hear on the
There you
radio.
go. I know exactly what he was against State.
Terry's lying.
Listen
He was
here, ladies and
5-5.
gentlemen. If you hear it on the radio, it's got to be true.
Yeah, he was 5-5 versus North Carolina State.
Are you talking about?
He won
Texas?
8 out of 10 against Wake Forest and 8 out of 10 against Duke. That's what he did.
Oh, 8 out of 10 against Duke. There you go.
So there's
I
2
said lost
losses, 2 losses. That's 9 losses. He was 21-9.
Okay.
Okay.
So what was the fedora?
But that's what I'm saying.
Go back to that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I understand that. He's probably worse. But that's the only reason they brought him back. I mean, because
tell you
he
something.
defeated interconference foes.
Who built that stadium, Terry?
That's the house Mac Brown built.
It is.
Okay.
It is. You know it.
No.
I was there when they started. They
Yes,
didn't
he's
start.
67
They
years
didn't
old.
start building. I know. We're not saying they're going to come in and win.
He's got a 5-year deal.
It's exactly what he needs. What the college football coaches have 5
He's got a
years.
5-year deal. I guarantee he's there for 3 before he hands the reins over.
Yeah, but
They
who's
bringing
gonna
him
have
back in to
Who's gonna
rebuild.
give him to? They got Trey Black coming back to do the corners.
All
I mean,
right.
the guy's never coached, but they bringing him there to do those. I mean, you know, I'm trying to say, who has he got behind him that he's going to bring that can take over the program when he decides to leave? Mac Brown, don't get me wrong, he's a great coach. I like him.
It's not the coaching,
You know.
Terry. It's the recruiting. It's they're getting out recruited by all these other schools. Not only the North
He's not
Carolina,
gonna
not only the
outdo
North
Dabo.
Carolina schools. Huh?
People's not going to go from going to Clemson to come to Tar Heels.
Well, it doesn't matter because guess
Who
what?
said
Guess
they
where
like
Mac
Clemson?
Brown's got most of his ties at? Texas. The state of Texas
Ooh.
still remembers what he did. Now, Mac Brown,
He's
now
been
let's
out
be
for a
completely
while.
honest.
He's been out for a while.
The name alone can bring players. The name alone can bring players. Now, of course, I wanted them to go after Kingsbury for head coach. If he's still on the market, I know I said UNC Charlotte run after him. Carolina run after him offensive coordinator. Because the way, I told you this before we even started, the way college football has worked now, it's whoever scores 45 first. It's the first team to 40, and the game is over. If you can outscore the other team, no one plays defense except SEC schools.
So the NFL's 24, and
in college it's over.
Well,
It's
NFL's
over
really
30.
the first one to 30.
If he
and 24.
had a long, here's my point.
Yeah.
If he had a longer tenure than 5 years, and he might. I mean, you know, he'll be
Depends on how
72.
successful he is.
He'll be 70. But here's the deal. His first 5 times he played state, he lost every one of them. He was 0-5 against North Carolina State. Then he beat them 5 straight the last 5. Against Duke and Wake Forest, in that first 5 years he was there, they were like he won 3, they won 2. You know, then he beat them the last 5. So he built a program beyond 5 years, and that's what it's going to take him here. They're not that bad of a team. They were in games this year that they could not finish.
They got better as the year progressed.
Yeah,
yes.
they did. And people keep going back. Well, you know, Fedora was kind of put in a tough situation because at the start his players doing stuff that he should have known about.
Yeah.
That happened, and it cost him a lot of suspensions off of this team to start the year.
Well, that was this year. What about the last 2 years when he's been
agree.
a complete joke? The problem is the last 2 years he's putting in quarterbacks off the practice squad on Fridays because they look good against the practice team. That was one of his quotes. And then he's flying around the state on this little helicopter. Is that why? There was one of the reports that said it's imminent he's going to get fired. What was he doing? Flying? He had one more helicopter
He's going to
ride.
waste a little bit of money on jet fuel.
You know what got him out? He lost to East Carolina. He lost to Duke. He lost to Wake. He lost to State.
He lost to every team in North Carolina that he is supposed to beat. And the biggest one that you pointed out was the East Carolina game. Well, how many wins did you say East Carolina won this year?
2. I think they only won 2.
So you lost to a team that's only got 2 wins this year. Well, guess what, buddy? That was one of your 2 wins. So.
But you know when East Carolina plays an interconference foe, I'm not saying interstate foe. They play above.
They play hard.
They should.
Because they know that
they'll probably give State
East Carolina.
I hope
because
not.
they know East Carolina knows that they're the little brother, just like App State is. The teams that are not ACC schools are looked down as the little brothers in the state. So they're always going to come out swinging. They've got nothing to lose. Meanwhile, these ACC schools got bragging rights to lose. So, I mean, they just come out here swinging. I do not mind the move. I was shocked by it.
Yeah, I was
especially
shocked.
because of how fast it came together. They had to have been talking
Mac Brown
with Mac
called
Brown.
him, I bet them.
Yeah.
Can Carolina turn around like it says on the start?
Yeah.
Can Carolina turn around and go from a few wins this year to 1-10?
How many wins was Carolina total this year?
Next
2 or
year?
3?
They won 2 this year.
They won 2 this year. So let me see. Mac Brown took over.
Took over 1998. He started with 2 1-10 records,
Yeah. Mhm.
and then they turned it around. Terry.
Yeah, they did.
He had 2 top 10 finishes in North Carolina. He had 2 New Year's Day.
He went 3-2 in bowl games.
He had 2 New Year's Day
His 10
bowls.
years.
If one counts the Peach Bowl in 92-93 bowl, that's the New Year's Day bowl too. So that it actually played in 3 New Year's Day bowl games because it was moved. It says
The last one he played in was when Torbush took over when he had already signed to go to Texas.
Mhm.
So he never coached in that game.
Recruiting wise, I think Mac Brown's going to do a terrific job. He knows talent. He's recruited talent because not only did he recruit talent at North Carolina, he recruited some dang good football players at the University of Texas. But let's not all sit here and say that Vince Young was a bust. I know he wasn't that great in the NFL,
He was good in
but he
college.
was one of the greatest
Yeah.
college quarterbacks that ever touched the field. So he knows what talent looks like, and he can build a team. The only question I have about Mac Brown, and of course there's who's going to take over after he's done, because like you said,
That's
his
something
age
to
is
worry
there.
about down the line.
I just want to
Worry about that
know.
now.
I just want to know what kind of offense he's going to implement, because now you're switching completely up from what Fedora was running.
Yeah.
There's no way Mac Brown sticks to with what Fedora was
now
running.
Mac has ran every type of offense. I don't think it matters to him.
You don't think it is?
No, he ran a pro style offense at Carolina. And in Texas, at Vince Young, he definitely wasn't a runner of pro style offense.
Spread.
He's had Colt McCoy. He's run a little bit of everything. A couple of other notes. And what I said about did he build the stadium? It even notes that in the Wikipedia page. Brown spearheaded a renovation of the stadium featuring upgraded facilities expanding over to 60,000 seats. And I do remember them upgrading the score. The scoreboard's been updated like 7 times.
Yeah.
They've built up the one side of the end zone. Is really nice. The Rams Club side. And then it's outstanding. That all wasn't him, but that's when it started. I was in the house and I remember the game. I'm trying to find it. I think it was Florida State. Yeah, that was the game I was at. Standing room only, 62,000 seats. I think it was 1 versus 6 or 2 versus 6. Florida State versus North Carolina, and it does mention that Mac didn't win the ACC because of Florida State. You guys got to remember, Florida State was the best team.
Good.
It wasn't even
They were.
close.
Yeah.
Like it was just y'all think Alabama's good. I would like to see those Florida State teams. Nick tried to hang with those teams. It was ridiculous. And just think, if Florida State now came in the ACC, Mac kind of got a raw deal there. He got Florida State at the best they've ever been with the Bobby Bowden. So he dealt with that.
And he never won anything. He
So
never won
I was at that game about the 10th row in the end zone of that game. That place was just as loud and as outstanding. I mean, they had recruits at that game that I know from this area. Ralph Roberts, Gary Johnson was on their official visit just from Cherryville, and they were up there in a section of just recruits. And I just remember seeing how many recruits set up at this section, and you sitting there showing that to these kids, that's going to make a difference.
I was just reading this line. It's Brown's time at UNC renewed. Popularity for a team playing behind the shadow of the school's powerhouse, which is the basketball program. I think that it's still that way right now. That obviously North Carolina is known for basketball. It's what we'll always be known for. Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of pressure on Mack Brown, but at the same time, I think this is also an experiment for North Carolina. So they're like, look, we'll see if this works. I think he's on a little bit of a tight leash because they don't want to have the same, obviously, non-success that they had this year.
He'll have 2 years to recruit his quarterback.
Yeah, but they're going to give him. But they're going to give him about out of the 5 years, they're going to give him about 2 years to go ahead and put together the team. So it's okay. Basketball season's here. We ain't got nothing to worry about right now. But we'll see what. See, I don't have high expectations for next year, obviously, because usually there's not one coach that comes in the year completely after they're going over 500.
And the thing that I have about him is when he comes in, who's he going to have to go? He does have Clemson on his schedule, which he's going to have State still on his schedule.
Have State, going to have
and
so they'll be 11-1. They'll be all right.
He does play out next year.
Oh, 11 and never mind, 10-2.
So funny is the Appalachian State coach said they didn't even call me. They didn't even call me.
No.
I saw Appalachian State's Twitter. It was like, North Carolina hires an Appalachian State coach. Don't worry, it wasn't ours. It's Mack Brown.
The biggest thing Mack Brown faces, Terry, is that at North Carolina, he's got to figure out how to convince the AD to pay his football players more than he pays the basketball players under the table. So that's the biggest thing. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Country Gold with Terry Clark. I'm Terry Clark, inviting you to join me this week for Country Gold, where we play all your favorites from the 80s and 90s.
Country Gold with Terry Clark, Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com. Ronaldo Auto Mall in Shelby, in cooperation with the local Salvation Army of Shelby, wants to make this Christmas a little brighter for children in our area. Now through December 22nd, we're asking you to drop off an unwrapped toy and put it in the bed of the big GMC Sierra truck in the Ronaldo Auto Mall showroom. The toys will be distributed to underprivileged children in our area. Plus, if you'd like to make a donation, a Salvation Army cattle will be available as well. Drop your unwrapped toy off today at Ronaldo Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. And when you buy a new vehicle at Ronaldo Auto Mall through Christmas, you'll get a free Broad River ham from Morris Supermarket. Ronaldo Auto Mall, right below the Cleveland Mall. When you shop our local advertisers, be sure to tell them you heard it on the radio. That way they'll know that their radio dollars they spend works for them and you too. Even in today's fast-moving world, radio remains the leading media to reach more people. 93% of Americans listen to AM/FM radio over the air. TV viewership is 89%, smartphone use is 83%, and personal computer use is 50%. So if you're a business owner, reach more people with the power of radio. If you don't tell it, you can't sell it. See the power of radio. WHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL Cherryville. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com. Now's the time to buy your new Kubota from Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Right now, pay zero money down. Get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Come on in now for all the details. All for good on the Kubota BX Series, the Kubota B Series, the Kubota L Series, and the Kubota MX Series tractors. Again, zero money down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Get your new Kubota today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Wednesday morning from 11 to 12 for the Golf Shop Radio Show. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop.
Tee it up and let it fly at the Crowders Mountain Golf Course, voted Gaston County's best course. Ride and play Monday through Friday for just $28. Play and ride after 12 for $25. On weekends and holidays, play and ride for $38 and afternoon for only $28. Seniors 55 and older play and ride Monday through Friday for $25. And Monday is Ladies' Day. Ladies play and ride on Mondays for $18. The Crowder's Mountain Golf Course, located on 255 Lincoln Academy Road in Gastonia.
Join KTC Broadcasting for the Sism & Son Paint and Body Shop broadcast of the Kings Mountain Christmas Parade this Saturday, December 2nd. The broadcast will begin at 2:45 with the parade starting at 3 p.m. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Sism & Son Paint and Body Shop on Shelby Road in Kings Mountain. Also by Florida America on Slater Street in Kings Mountain. By Crown Automotive on Highway 74 west of Kings Mountain. By Love's Fish Box on Shelby Road in Kings Mountain. By Bear's Floor Covering on Dixon School Road in Kings Mountain. By Full Throttle Power Sports on Indian Walk in Lowell. By Renato Auto Mall on Highway 74 East in Shelby. By Weston Sales, Highway 18 North in Vale. By Auto Parts You Pull on County Home Road in Shelby. By Bill Shuford Heating and Air on Campbell Street in Shelby. By Harris Funeral Home in Kings Mountain. And by Parker Farm Service on Sism Road in Kings Mountain. So join us this Saturday, December 2nd for the Sism & Sons Paint and Body Shop broadcast of this year's Kings Mountain Christmas Parade. Just go to YouTube and search Kings Mountain Parade or go to ktcbroadcasting.com.
Say, kids, what time is it?
This is the 60s.
Hey, JJ Wilson here reminding you to tune in this weekend for This is the 60s, featuring the best music from the best decade and so much more. There's 60s television, movies, news, pop culture, trivia, novelty songs, interviews, deep cuts, and a whole lot more. It's peace, love, and rock and roll on This is the 60s.
This is the 60s, Friday mornings from 10 a.m. till 12 noon on The Boss, WOHS, AM and FM in Shelby, WLON in Lincolnton.
It's time to tee it up at Kings Mountain Country Club, open to the public 7 days a week. Play and ride 18 holes Monday through Friday for $28. Play and ride 18 holes on weekends for $40. And seniors 55 and older can play and ride Monday through Friday for just $24. For your tee time, call 704-739-5871 for the Kings Mountain Country Club, 100 Country Club Drive in Kings Mountain.
Check out the monthly specials at the Cherryville Country Club, open to the public with no reservations required. It's prime rib the first Friday of each month, crab legs on the second Thursday and Friday of each month. It's steak and wine the third Thursday and Friday of each month, and fish camp night, fourth Thursday and Friday of each month. And don't forget about their Sunday buffet, 11 to 2, $16 for adults with discounts for kids. Plus, check out the Chicken on the Run bucket on Sundays. 8 pieces of chicken, 2 sides, and rolls for $14.50. Cherryville Golf and Country Club, Roy Acre Road, Cherryville. Check out the great offers now available at Full Throttle Power Sports in Gastonia. Get a new Yamaha and get up to $750 in customer cash back. Plus finance as low as 2.99% for 234 months. Upgrade your adventure with a new Polaris. Rebates of up to $2,000 plus financing as low as 2.99% APR. And buy a new Slingshot and make no payments and pay no interest until spring of 2019. Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk of I-85 in Lowell.
Carpenter Porter Funeral and Cremation Services in Cherryville is there for you in your time of need. They're a progressive and comprehensive funeral service provider, promoting the highest ethical and professional standards while maintaining cost-effective service. Funeral directors John Porter and Hannah Garrett are there to help you and give you guidance during one of life's most difficult times. For more information, call 704-435-6711. Located at 1100 East Main Street in Cherryville and online at carpentersfuneralhome.net, a member of the National Funeral Directors Association.
Campers in Saturday Sports Talk. Go. Fuck. Something like that. I got to win.
She can sing the melody. She doesn't know the words. She can sing the melody, though.
Most people can.
Yeah.
I think my favorite college or song is the here. Let's see if I can pull it up.
The USC fight song.
I don't know if this. No, I can't stand that one. Only because I used to have the college football game. And, and if you had it, and that was when Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart were good, so everybody wanted to play with them. So if you played any game, that's you heard that dang song just.
I think I had the one
thousands and thousands of times.
Can we petition for them to make college football games again?
Oh, several people have.
Because
if nothing else, I just want them to be backwards compatible. I want to be able to play.
They could easily just make them with the non-named people like they did. All they got to do is just not put the same heights and the colors of the kids, and they won't have a problem.
I don't care. I just want to play college
They
football.
do it anyway.
You can do that, and you can even if they made it whoever they want, you can go on and download a roster, and it will be everybody with everybody's name. Just some Samaritan, some great soul is the person.
There's a college kid.
It's 37 hours worth of work.
It's a college kid who is an art major who has nothing else to do than to draw a picture or do this. And it does that. Now I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I went in and would update. See, I've still got 2 of the games.
I mean,
saved.
I would do it. I would do 3 players, and then I'd be like, "Oh God, I'm tired of this."
I've got 2 of the games saved because I got 2 of the games saved because 2 of them, one of them had Richie Williams on it, and the other one had Armani on it. Yeah. So now the Richie Williams team on that game is better, but the Armani guy, he's fast. And so I've got. If I ever get my PlayStation 2 out, I can play with them.
Young on the front, and that's kind of like using 2003 Michael Vick in Madden. It's kind of broke. It's not fair. You just run everywhere with Vince Young.
That's almost as bad as saving the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowls from way back.
What?
Terry, you don't.
So this is
Terry doesn't know what we're talking about.
This is one of my.
Terry's got all his Cowboys stuff on VHS.
This is the song
That's the last time they won a Super Bowl is when VHS was still popular.
This is the song I was talking about. I don't know if you guys know it, but it's called "The Horse."
Oh yeah.
I'm not even gonna act like I'm not.
Oh, I got the end of it. But anyway, I don't even know. There's not any words to it, and I don't even know why it's called "The Horse." Somebody might be able to tell us.
I have no idea. Yeah.
We're not exactly music aficionados in there, but that's a good one for the bands to play. Get them going. I guess they're spelling the horse.
Should I get a?
Or is that the Badgers? I think that's the Badgers.
Who knows?
A who?
A what?
All right, let's pick these.
Week in a row. I come out on top again.
Now, Terry, we tied one of those weeks.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's not act
like you were all high and mighty.
15-5. Hunter went 12-8.
Yeah, I was so bad.
Carson went 12-8.
Well, I went out on a limb because both of you
12-8.
Because I picked Auburn.
Oh, that was dumb.
Well, I wanted to be a.
Y'all also took Michigan.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in this room saw it being that bad.
Yeah, I just figured they were due, but God, I guess they're not.
Some of the ones major that we made.
How else do you want to think?
I guess God, they're not. Man.
We all picked Pittsburgh. We all picked Tennessee. We all picked LSU. I mean, you all picked San Diego.
Yeah.
But then somebody picked UConn.
Woo!
We had to be a little different here.
That's the Shannon Allen level mess up right there.
We had
the UConn. Team. So there you go. Stat of the day for Hunter's picks.
Yeah.
All right, let's make some picks. We got to get through these fast because we still got to get to the NFL in overtime today.
Just do conference champ.
But real quick. Kings Mountain, folks. If you're in Kings Mountain, going to be at the parade. It has been canceled today. We were supposed to do the parade on video today, and it has been canceled. Tomorrow we have scheduled tentatively the Gastonia Christmas parade, and we'll see how that goes from here. And we'll let you know. Just follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and you'll see if we're going to do that one tomorrow or not. If that one gets canceled, the Kings Mountain Christmas parade has been canceled today. Do not know about Krause. If anyone's asked me about that, someone knows, give me a call, give me a text, let me know, and I'll get the word out. All right. Number 14, Texas. At number 5, Oklahoma.
I'm going to take Texas.
I gotta go Oklahoma. It's the highest scoring.
Oklahoma too.
It's the highest scoring.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's not going to surprise me if Oklahoma wins. I just want Texas to win because if Oklahoma loses, then it's a better shot for Georgia to make in the Final Four. There's method to this madness.
So that's not how you're supposed to pick the games, though, Hunter. This is what I want my dream scenario to be.
My heart. Well, Texas has already beat Oklahoma once this year.
Right.
So
okay.
And it's a neutral field.
Yeah,
so
second field goal.
For $59 more.
Wow.
Louisiana. Tickets available in Boone today for $59. Hey guys, there's 1,700 tickets today available for that Oklahoma crappy game out there. So you can watch.
Where's the game played at for Oklahoma? Isn't it
Oklahoma.
Yep. So you guys got Louisiana or App State for the conference championship today?
Appalachian.
Everybody's got out.
Appalachian.
Give me a second to talk about
You know.
Take your time, kid.
Yeah, you know, Appalachian getting an opportunity here.
You got on that, Terry?
Try to up their bowl game.
The first conference championship, should they be?
I'm never mad at Appalachian. You know, when I sit back, they can say, hey, every bowl game we've been to, we've won.
See, I'm one of those people, and I'm going to be biased about this really bad because I was there for the championship.
No, it's not at Oklahoma. It's at Dallas. It's a Jerry World.
Well, the order they put it in was Oklahoma.
Oh.
Sorry. No wonder there's 19.
I'm about to say there's no way they're playing a home field conference championship game.
Anyway, I'm one of those people as far as App's concerned that this whole in Hunter fusses about won't you join a real conference. We will as soon as the SEC invites us, but until then, I'm not excited about the Poinsettia, Camellia, Myrtle Beach Bowl or whatever.
I'll be honest, App State would do good even in the Big Ten. I mean, they would do good in a lot. They would do good in the ACC. They do good. The people just got to give them a chance. Y'all quit being scared of App State.
I know. They dominate the Big Ten.
And quit being scared of App State and allow me to gain more respect for them.
If the SEC was smart, they would be the ones that would call App State because the ACC already has 4 schools in the state of North Carolina.
Yeah.
You put that SEC recruiting in the state of North Carolina as well, it could be a problem there because they don't have anything in Virginia either.
No,
so
they don't.
So if your SEC put Appalachian in there,
big conferences look at Appalachian State. That'll allow me to give them a whole lot more respect.
All right, next game: East Carolina, NC State. Terry,
North
are we
Carolina
really
State.
picking that?
Yeah, you need to pick that. It's championship week, man.
State.
NC State.
State.
I mean, if we have to pick it, I was just wanting to do the big bowl game so we could
y'all
move
say
on
North
to
Carolina
the
State.
NFL.
The Thundering Herd at Virginia Tech.
Give me Marshall. Virginia Tech has backslid.
Tech.
Bison or turkey, Terry?
I mean, are we talking about meats or
fight? That is a good question. How do you decide that? Eating the mascot or fight the mascot's fighting?
If it's eating the mascot, I'm taking the buffalo.
Because a lot of people pick by the mascots. So you got to choose what the mascots are doing. I like that idea.
Can we do that?
I mean, do you do it by what they taste like? By what the mascots taste like?
Oh, I don't know, man. We're not even gonna get into that.
I'm not going Mountaineers and Raging Cajuns. Anyone want to go which one tastes better?
Probably the Raging Cajun.
Raging Cajun, you can put that on anything.
They're seasoned better.
They're definitely seasoned better.
We put some barbecue sauce on Mountaineers. Marshall, we skipped over that. UAB, Middle T. God, there's only
not
12
a lot
games.
of championship games today.
Y'all are guessing at some of these, so I ain't even going to talk to you about it. Let's go Fresno State, Boise State.
Gotta go Boise
State.
I'm going Boise State.
Boise State.
On the blue turf today. Number 2, Clemson at Pittsburgh. Does Pittsburgh pull the upset and shock the world?
No, not again.
Terry, go ahead. You know what I want.
Memphis at UCF. Does UCF choke?
Yes.
No. Nah.
UCF just lost their starting quarterback.
I understand that. I understand that, but UCF, they have Memphis's number.
UCF.
Actually, no. Give me UCF.
There it is.
Give me UCF.
I've come back home. Come back home.
The purple Wildcats in Columbus. Number 21 Northwestern, and number 6 Ohio State Buckeyes.
I think it's Ohio State, but it's not. It is close. I think it'll be closer.
That's not in Columbus. That's
no. It's in Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis, Lucas Oil
Ohio
Stadium.
State by 24 or more.
I don't think
24 or more. I think what's the spread on this?
I think it'll be 10 to 18. I think it'll be a little bit closer.
I can tell.
Just because Northwestern will be able to slow it down. they'll have more possessions and they'll eat some clock.
I can tell you.
You go to that Clemson-Pittsburgh game, there's 550 seats available for $30.
I can tell you the
at
spread.
Bank of
Ohio
America
State's
Stadium.
favored by 15.
Okay.
Favored
So they'll
by
win
15.
by 25. On that.
All right,
Are you taking it? You taking the points?
I'm telling you.
Big
That's simple.
Big game of the day. It'll be the most fans in Mercedes-Benz Stadium this season.
It's a great stadium. I've been there.
Hey, guess what? You can buy Chick-fil-A at the game.
Finally.
You can buy Chick-fil-A at the game.
Yeah. Finally.
If you don't know what we mean, the Falcon Stadium has a Chick-fil-A. The Falcons play on Sundays.
And Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday.
You would think that, and you know...
Why don't you pay him time and a half?
You would think that there were still... there would be a way that Chick-fil-A would figure out some type of charity or charitable business where they could open on Sundays and figure that out. I guess you'd have to have the employees would have to volunteer.
Yeah, they would have to.
Absolutely.
And if they
stand
come in,
behind Chick-fil-A.
well, I stand behind
They're
Chick-fil-A.
going to be
Which
there
part?
still.
He
That's
just
what I'm
stands
saying.
behind it. He don't say well about
I
it.
stand behind it
No.
and I watch the drive-through line.
That's
I
fine.
stand behind the Lord's calories.
I want to.
I will have some this afternoon.
The ladies over here in Shelby, I want to thank them. I took my daughter the other day to Chick-fil-A, and she was. We were in the pink Cadillac.
Ah,
Nice.
So she was in the very back. So I couldn't hand her whatever they handed me. So I had them. I pulled up and handed her in the very back of it. So my daughter's in the back seat. She's 4, y'all. Back seat of a pink Cadillac limousine, getting food handed to her. Like she ain't just Queen
That's
Bee
life.
up in here telling me what to do. I'm just driving her around. Like, all right.
And she's probably up there going, y'all have the best ketchup in the world. And the little packs that you cut it off and it just
You like that,
squeezes right
Terry?
out. That is the best ketchup in the world.
Terry, you amazing.
Not
Terry,
the one you all over
Terry
you
is
by opening up the
astounded
thing.
by ketchup container
There you go.
technology.
Let's get to the pick'em, the big game.
All right. Let's see if I can say it like Forrest Gump. Greenbow, Alabama
There it is.
versus Georgia. I want to say the Georgia Dome, but it's not.
No
Mercedes-Benz
contest.
Stadium.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Can do the dogs win today, Hunter?
No.
Yes.
They shock the world.
No.
Yes.
They get beat by at least 21 or more.
No,
Good God.
Georgia, Alabama's only if I'm not mistaken, 12-point favorite.
Then it'll be 21.
They have not won
They
a
are,
game
in fact-
by less than 20. That hasn't been done since the 1800s.
We also-
Georgia
that
is in
about
fact only a
retarded.
12-point favorite. Let me tell you something.
I'm just saying.
Let me tell you something.
I'm just saying.
Georgia and Clemson, they say are the two best teams in the country to match up against them.
There's only one other one that can criticize and maybe take that away from them, and there are the Fighting Irish.
Carson, who you got?
I hate to say it, Alabama.
There you go.
Give me Georgia. Write it down. Take a picture. And I will come back in here next Friday. Waving
With
my
an
Next
X.
Friday. What are you
With
doing
an
here
X.
Friday?
Or next Saturday.
I know-
Yeah, either one.
I'm going to come in here Friday.
I'm going to come in here
I
this
know.
afternoon. I don't care. Just
I know that we have about 3 minutes to get this topic covered, and this is not a 3-minute topic cover.
Oh, boy.
Couple of questions. I'm going to get Carson started because Terry will rant. And if Georgia wins, does Alabama deserve a spot in the top 4? If Georgia loses, who deserves the spot in the top 4? Carson.
If Georgia wins, I think they should move. They should probably move up to 2 or 3. Alabama should probably be 4 because I mean you can't. I realize it's a loss in the championship game and they hate late losses, but you've just won so many games by such a big margin. You have to almost give them a benefit of the doubt.
Do you have to take into account the voters? Should the voters take into account where they're currently ranked, or does that have to take? Also, with this
and who beat them?
And with this system, the way it's set up, it's not. I won't say fair, but however it works out, they've got Georgia in a spot to where no matter what happens, Alabama's in the finals no matter what.
Basically, yeah.
It just happened last year, and they didn't even make it.
But you can't.
So
you
every
can't
single year,
you can't blame Alabama for being in the spot they're in, though, because they've been just so dominant. And their strength of schedule kills.
I'm not blaming them.
Ohio State
I'm blaming
and
the
Oklahoma.
system. So looking at it now, you've got 2 ACC schools and 2 SEC schools.
Well,
yeah, essentially.
Notre Dame is an independent, but
they
play an ACC schedule.
How many ACC schools do they play?
Was it
6,
4, 5, or 6?
Well, half of their schedule has got to be
If it's
ACC
6,
teams.
Alabama plays what, 8 conference games?
They get to pick.
And they do.
Alabama plays 8 conference games, and it's not like that. Looking at their schedule, their schedule isn't any harder than Notre Dame's at all. So so you do. So for all intents and purposes, Notre Dame's ACC school, Clemson's ACC. So you got 2 conferences here in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
That means no Pac-12, no Big Ten.
Pac-12 is nowhere.
No
they're
Big
10.
12.
They're not even close.
So you
They're
got
10.
3 Power 5 conferences that aren't even in it. Is this what they wanted? So should it be? I mean, and the question always is, we talk about MVP. Is it the best players? Is it the best season? So is it the best team? Or looking at like our power poll, is it the one that should be most rewarded? So if you looked at our power poll and Thomas Jefferson went out and won a state championship, we'd give him a trophy, a ring, and everything else. But if you did like college football voters and Crest fans like Dennis over here, we still think Crest is better. They go to the playoffs. They're the better team. So what should they do? Should it be better team, most rewarded? I'd ask you 19 different questions. Like I said, it's going to take me longer to explain it. Carson, go quick as you can. Let's go around the table, and then we'll get ready.
So what is the essential question?
Yeah,
How crazy is college football? I don't care. Go ahead. Whatever you want to talk about as far as all that goes.
He's wanting to know.
Final 4.
So he's wanting to know if Georgia beats Alabama, does Alabama deserve a top 4
to be
spot?
in. And if not, who takes the
Because
spot?
my question is, why does it matter if you lose at the end of the year and it don't count against you? If you lose in the first year, sometimes it does, depending on who you name it. It's
I understand that.
It's all subject
that.
to whoever make the voter. The voter. If Terry's the
also-
voter, he has no criteria in college football on which order to put these in. He can make up whatever he wants.
Oh, well, they do.
And that's
I mean,
the
they
problem
have
with college. You
criteria.
got
It's
10
about,
people.
who you lose to, strength of schedule. They have
Yeah, but
criteria that they go by.
The thing about strength of schedule is once you get out of the top 10,
Right.
if I beat a team that's 30th, to me, there's no difference between beating a team that's 95th.
No, you're right.
So, you can sit there.
Okay,
and,
so it's top 25 wins is what they look like.
But what you can do is you stack up, say, the SEC schedule, and you say, well, all their teams are ranked in the top 50. So our schedule is harder than UCS because all their teams are ranked 50 to 95. But there's no legitimate difference between 80 and 85. So what I'm saying, this whole system, there's no set circumstances on exactly what we got to do.
Well,
Sorry with all that. Carson, start with you.
Yeah.
Final 4, how do you think they should handle this going forward in the next few weeks?
I love how everybody talks
Sorry.
as if Georgia's got a chance because they really do.
If Georgia wins, I think both of them stay in. I think Georgia will end up being the higher seed out of them if they win right now.
So Bama's in no matter what.
Bama's in no matter what.
Disagree with that?
They've won.
I have no trouble with that. If Georgia wins, Alabama will be no worse than 3rd or 4th.
What if Georgia wins by 40?
Alabama's still
in.
So I just want to know where we're at in the sport. No matter what happens,
right now,
Alabama's in because we don't care about the results.
That's exactly right in this game.
In this game,
that's what I'm saying.
There are outliers
Because
to
I
everything.
want you to
exceptions
just
to
look at
everything.
this. Oklahoma
So
would be a bad matchup.
So Alabama
against
shouldn't
any
even
of
play
these
their
teams.
starters in. They should not waste a single starter, a single anybody out there. They shouldn't show a single play. They shouldn't show anybody anything. They should go out there with all backups. Think about it. Think about it.
Win the championship.
Why? It don't mean anything. It doesn't mean a thing. They could lose and are getting in. They don't even have to be in second in their conference and get in that championship.
This is where 8 teams
if I'm
need
Nick
to come into
Saban,
play, and we take conference champions.
So if I'm Nick Saban, and he wouldn't ever do this, but if I'm coaching Alabama, I start every single backup I have, and get this, they all get to play on national TV in a SEC championship game, and we're all going to then we'll let Georgia in. Then the conference gets double the money, Terry.
No,
if Georgia wins this game, the conference gets double the money.
Hey, Kevin, but you
don't think nobody's fired
at the root of it all, these are all still competitors. They're not just going to roll over. Alabama wants to go perfect once again.
Yeah, and Alabama wants to go out there and
I think every single game.
That's what they want to do.
I think every single game and every single sport above high school is fixed in some capacity. Every single one. That's my conspiracy
Well, the
theory.
one that you can fix the most is basketball. You just tell the player, hey, go out there and don't hit your shots. Don't hit your shots.
All right, here's mine. Since we ain't getting around to this.
All right, Terry. Who's got in Final Four?
If Georgia wins, then Alabama falls to 4, and you still got your same 4. If Alabama wins, Georgia falls out of it. They got 2 losses.
Yeah.
And this is me. Oklahoma don't make it in. I go all the way to UCF. The reason being because this team has done.
I cannot believe that Terry Reinhardt just said
I'm
that.
sorry.
Folks. I would like to see it
for 2 years.
If I knew he was going to say that, I would have went to him first.
Well,
we would
there
have
you
stopped
go.
the show. Terry Reinhardt just said UCF.
Okay. Here, I'll give a more realistic
Stop. Go, Terry. Keep talking.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. They deserve it. They've done this 2 years in a row. They didn't get beat last year, so you eliminated them.
I agree.
Guess what?
They
They've
been in
come
the
back this year, and they've done it again. You don't put Michigan right in front of them. Michigan just got through getting beat by
Central
40.
Florida just beat Alabama in basketball. They can do it in football.
So the heck with them.
The last 10 minutes have been a
All right.
perfect example of why I do not like this sport.
If Georgia beats Alabama, Georgia goes probably to second because Notre Dame stays at third because they don't play a conference championship game, so they don't win or lose. Clemson goes to 1, so it'll be Alabama versus Clemson because Alabama will drop all the way to 4. If Georgia loses, I put Ohio State in over Oklahoma. And the reason I do that is because I know Oklahoma's loss looks better than Ohio State's loss, but Oklahoma has not played a defense at all this year. At all. If they do not outscore a team, they lose.
I know, but Oklahoma did play in a game they lost on the last-second field goal.
They lost to Texas. Ohio State lost to Purdue.
They got blown out.
I know.
That's my thing.
I know.
Is that last year basically the same exact thing happened to Ohio State? They had the big loss to Iowa and they didn't put them in. Don't put them in if the same thing's going to happen. And you can't leave out Oklahoma because it's the best scoring.
Sounds like a discussion of a beauty pageant.
If Georgia loses, you have to put Oklahoma in there just because they're such a good
Oklahoma's offense is going to be.
I would like Terry. I'm like you. I'd
Alabama.
like to see UCF, but
if Oklahoma gets in at 4 and has to play Alabama, they will not score more than 25
This poll right here is
points.
ridiculous. When I look at it and I see Michigan number 7, UCF number 8, come on, man.
The Oklahoma
Get
team so
real.
far this year that's averaging like
Michigan
40-something
got
points a
beat by
game.
40 points
Oklahoma
against
this
Ohio
Alabama defense will not score 25 points.
Oh man,
All I
that is
know
a hot take.
is the Mountaineers about to take it on. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back on KTC Broadcasting.
Register to win $1,000 in Christmas cash. It will be given away Monday, December 24th, Christmas Eve at 8 o'clock on the Boston, Carolina Country. Register today with no obligation to buy at West End Sales, Highway 18 in Vail, at Basic Finance on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, at Carolina Hardware and Garden Center on the Reachville Road in Lincolnton, at Amity Finance in downtown Kings Mountain, at the Captain's Cap on Linwood Road in Gastonia, at Turning Head Salon and Spa on Highway 16 in Denver, at K-Cuts Plus on Highway 150 East in Cherryville, at Bayada Nurses on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, at Distinct Beat on South Oakland Street in Gastonia, at Bill Shuford Heating and Air on Campbell Street in Shelby, at GT Creations in downtown Lincolnton, at Love's Fish Box on Shelby Road in Kings Mountain, and at Ronaldo Honda Kia Buick GMC, Highway 74 East in Shelby. Register and win the $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway.
Join KTC Broadcasting for the live broadcast of this year's Gastonia Christmas Parade this Sunday afternoon, December 2nd. Our broadcast will begin at 3:45 p.m. with the parade at 4 p.m. Brought to you by Full Throttle Power Sports on Indian Walk in Gastonia, by Carolina Trust Bank on South New Hope Road, Gastonia, by Ronaldo Auto Mall, Highway 74 East in Shelby, by West End Sales, Highway 18 North in Vail, by Auto Parts U-Pull on County Home Road in Shelby, by All Care Insurance Agency in Belmont and Shelby, and by Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. To watch the parade, just go to YouTube and search Gastonia Christmas Parade or go to ktcbroadcasting.com. Join us this Sunday at 3:45 p.m. for this year's Gastonia Christmas Parade.
Ronaldo Auto Mall in Shelby, in cooperation with the local Salvation Army of Shelby, wants to make this Christmas a little brighter for children in our area. Now through December 22nd, we're asking you to drop off an unwrapped toy and put it in the bed of the big GMC Sierra truck in the Ronaldo Auto Mall showroom. The toys will be distributed to underprivileged children in our area. Plus, if you'd like to make a donation, a Salvation Army kettle will be available as well. Drop your unwrapped toy off today at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. And when you buy a new vehicle at Renato Auto Mall through Christmas, you'll get a free Broad River ham from Morris Supermarket. Renato Auto Mall, right below the Cleveland Mall.
It's the 30th anniversary of NBA basketball in Charlotte, and the Hornets are writing the latest chapter in Charlotte basketball history with their first-year head coach, James Borrego. Fast-paced and high-flying. Join the new voice of Charlotte Hornets basketball, Chris Kroger, and 10-year NBA veteran Matt Carroll as they deliver every thrilling moment of Hornets hoops all season long on the Charlotte Hornets Radio Network.
Here's Charlotte Hornet basketball right here on the Boston Carolina Country. WHS, WCSL, and WLON. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
What are you looking forward to most in life? In the book of Acts, in the first chapter, verse 9 says these words, "After saying this, he was taken up into a cloud while they were watching, and they could no longer see him. 2 white-robed men suddenly stood among them. 'Men of Galilee,' they said, 'why are you standing here staring into heaven? Jesus has been taken from you into heaven, but someday he will return from heaven in the same way you saw him go.'" Something to look forward to is the return of Jesus. This is Vince Hefner, pastor of the First Baptist Church of Cherryville, saying, don't give in to sin. Think about it.
Dr. John L. Cloninger III of Lincolnton will brighten your smiles with professional cosmetic dentistry and smile enhancement procedures for everyone. Even Duke fans will smile at the work of this Tar Heel. The office of Dr. John L. Cloninger III is located at 904 Doncha Drive. For an appointment, call 704-735-0765. That's 704-735-0765. And John III says best wishes to all high school athletes.
Maybe a punctuation mark on a career night.
Carolina Country, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
We'll start the weekend mostly cloudy to cloudy. Some patches of light rain or rain showers drifting in from the south, especially after midday. We'll have highs in the low 50s to around 60, warmest in the south. Tonight, a few evening showers. Some lingering low clouds or drizzle later with lows in the upper 40s to mid-50s. Looks mostly cloudy to partly sunny Sunday. Breezy and warmer tomorrow. Morning drizzle and maybe a stray afternoon shower. Highs 66 to 72. I'm Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Currently at the Big Old Country Studios, it's 10:11.
Just talking about these last 60 minutes. I'm talking about the quarterback schools, the mini camp, the off-season, the training camp, down in Austin when it was hot and you were tired, the home out. Everybody, you did one hell of a job. And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
You can tell. You want to know? You want to know how old that is?
How about them Cowboys? 1992.
Because it sounds like it was on a cassette tape.
It was on a VHS, definitely.
There it is. That's the last time they won a Super Bowl when VHS was the main medium for media.
They had DVDs then.
Did they?
Yeah, they just started Laserdisc in school.
Laserdisc.
The shade, what do you want to start? I'm going to start with...
Just start with the shade because we don't really... Like, I give a lot of credit to the Cowboys.
Terry's going to say some good things about the Cowboys. So I'm going to start with the shade. I will bet right now, Terry, I'll put $100 in there on that table that there's no chance in Vince McMahon's world that Dallas could beat New Orleans again, first of all, period. Second of all, they dang sure with 13 points.
No.
We went into the game last week. I predicted 44-20 Saints. The 20 Saints did their end. They held them to 13.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees, they went for a fourth down. They should have kicked a field goal on there late. Peyton wanted to put so many points on him so bad, and I think his ego got in a lot of the way there on offense. I would say Dallas' defense played really good as far as getting pressure on Brees. Brees, Brady, and these really good quarterbacks. They don't like their front feet being compromised when their plant foot.
You did exactly what DeMarcus Lawrence said that you had to do to win the game.
Right.
Except he used a lot more.
And so
he used some
they
words,
got
boy.
They got pressure with their front four, on Breeze, and what they did was up the middle. And if you ever watch any of these good quarterbacks, you have to pressure them up the middle to make them move their feet. And they did that. And then also we were talking about last night, this group of linebackers, Vander Esch and Jalen Smith, are starting to look like one of the better combos in the league. Reminds you a lot of a younger Thomas Davis / Kuechly combo. Folks, look out for that. Everybody's wondering, well, what's going to go with Sean Lee? Well, when they go to the 4-3, when Sean comes back, he can get in there. But right now,
Sean Lee just needs to be the linebacker.
He's just so extremely smart. You know, he's the Romo of that defense, the Kuechly. When you got part of defense is dissecting where to go. If you go the wrong way, it don't matter how good of a tackler you are. So that's what I want to say. They did well. We're going to do picks and stuff in just a second. Now, Terry, go ahead.
All I'm going to say, and I'm not even going to go
all
out
I'm going to say.
That's it. Because a lot of times when you come in here and you sit down and you go over Super Bowl champions of the past, that offenses cannot compare. And when you have a good defense, that offense of yours, I don't give a darn how good they are, they can be stopped.
Yeah.
And when you look into the NFC right now, and I'm taking Dallas and I'm taking Chicago, both of them are going to be on opposite sides. The Rams are going to have to come through there, and the Saints are going to have to come through there. And you winning again.
Terry, you know who has the best record, right?
I don't care what kind of record.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, defenses win championships, y'all. He comes in here and he sits down here and he goes over the Super Bowl pass and only 6 or 7 times has the offense, 8 times. Okay, out of 50-some times has the offense won a Super Bowl when all this has happened.
Terry, we are talking about a Super Bowl after a Thursday night football game.
Now remember, what did Jerry say before the game? This is our Super Bowl.
Listen.
They made it plain that this is their Super Bowl. As far as they're going to get. They win 13-10. Now what do they do, Terry? They're going to put the rings. Are they getting rings measured, Terry?
And they even got on there and even said, because the one time when Jones was covering Thomas, and one of the stats that first come out was Jones has not allowed a touchdown when he's been guarding the guy. That's Deion Sanders types. That's all I had to say. This guy's playing corner to the best of his knowledge. And I'm going to tell you something else. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. And then when you go to say they beat them 13-10, the only touchdown y'all had was an offensive pass interference call that they never called. The only touchdown that you scored
wasn't even a Michael Thomas. Hit Michael Thomas.
Drew's my fantasy.
So that was not even a touchdown.
Is a fantasy receiver.
You should have took that away and put them back, and you would not have scored any.
Terry, you know what the home team's record is on Thursday Night Football on a short week? You know what it is now? It's 10-2.
Okay. So
it's
what
Thursday
are you
night.
tell me?
It's Thursday night. You can only put so much stock in a game where it's not the playoffs. Yeah, I understand.
I'm sorry you had to play on Thursday.
I know. I'm just saying. Thursday night football is a joke as a whole. You can
Dallas plays next Thursday
too. You can write it in.
No, at Philly.
You can write it in and say 9 times out of 10, like we talk, like what you were talking about yesterday in the pregame show. The fact that 72% of the time, a team that will beat you in the regular season will beat you in the playoffs. Most of the time, if you're the home team on Thursday Night Football, you're gonna win because you're on a short week and you're at home. You're comfortable. If you're on a short week and then you got to travel too, that's gonna mess with you. I'm just saying. I understand it's a big win, but I don't put so much stock in it and be on an emotional high and love this so much that next week you fall off.
Every single thing that had to happen in that game for Dallas to win happened. They won by 3. During the second half, do y'all remember during the second half?
Come on.
How many times during the Terry, you scored 13 points and won. You have to say, well, everything happened right. Now, also in the second half, if y'all were watching, Cole Beasley, Zeke, and Dak Prescott all had to dive for a first down.
Yeah, and Beasley never got his.
Y'all cheated.
No, we didn't cheat.
Y'all cheated.
No, Sean Payton wasted
There shouldn't be a limit on challenges, by the way. They should be allowed to fire them things out there.
I think the challenge flag should reset after
He should have never believed Thomas when he said, I caught the ball. I caught the ball.
He didn't catch
and he did not catch the
Terry,
ball.
the only thing I agree with you out of anything that you've said, obviously, we can't dispute facts. Dallas won last night. Okay, yes. The only thing I agree with you with is Chicago. I think Chicago's better than Dallas. I trust Trubisky more than I trust Dak Prescott, and I trust that head coach more than I trust Jason Garrett.
But the biggest thing you have not
Chicago
put
is
in
better.
there, the Chicago is not better.
A defense?
Defensive-wise, they're not better than Dallas.
Terry.
There's no way. And the reason I'm saying, and the biggest catch that you keep leaving out of that game, if they would have to play each other, Elliott. Chicago has no Elliott.
They got Tariq Cohen.
He's not no Elliott.
Tariq Cohen is he's better than Jordan Howard.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, but the fact that he's going, he's listed as for the Pro Bowl is a return specialist.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying he's not good.
I know, but let me tell you this, Terry. New Orleans, what have they been known for all year? Their offense. They're not known for their defense. So, of course, Ezekiel Elliott's going to find holes running through that defense.
They scored 13 points.
And they still only scored 13 points. But
Chicago,
what is Chicago known for? They are known for their defense.
New Orleans only scored 3.
Chicago would eat Ezekiel alive. Ezekiel likes to eat. Well, he'd get eaten. He'd get eaten.
All right, Terry. First round.
Khalil Mack would stop him with his palm.
If the season ended today, the first round matchups would be Redskins in Chicago.
Chicago beat the Dogs.
Chicago beat them.
Vikings.
Don't get me talking about the Washington.
Vikings in Dallas.
Being a fan
Vikings in Dallas.
In Dallas, I mean, it just comes down to Kirk Cousins' play. Vikings defense is coming back around. If it was up to okay, the defenses, we'll just say they cancel out each other because they're both playing good right now. If it comes down to offenses, I've got more faith in Minnesota than I do Dallas. But playing in Jerry World's
that would set up
big.
Cooper has made such a difference in Dallas already that Gallup's getting open now. I mean, come on, Gallup. Guys. I mean, think about it.
So that would set up in the second round. Chicago in New Orleans, and Dallas in Los Angeles.
Well, I mean, you got to give Chicago. You
both defenses win.
I was about to say you got to give them Chicago at least a chance because you saw what Dallas did to them when they get in Drew Brees' face. Big question is those. I'm
gonna say this exactly, Hunter.
It's in New Orleans.
Anything in the Superdome, you do not bet against Drew Brees in the Superdome.
Now, I don't think it'll be a blowout.
I'm not saying it will. Remember, didn't they lose in Minnesota last year? When the Dodo missed the tackle, so and they had that game won.
Yeah.
If Breeze is at home, I've got them. I'm not even going to question who they're even playing. Now that would set up Dallas and LA. Terry,
at LA,
what you got?
Dallas beats LA.
What's
I mean, Dallas. LA can't stop nobody.
Terry, what's the score?
Well, in that game, Dallas wins 27-14.
Wait a minute. You said LA can't stop anybody. Dallas can't find the end zone to save their life.
They scored 27 because the Rams can't stop a soul.
We just got to keep Talib back. I know it's one person, but that's going to allow.
You're going to put the best shutdown.
You're going to put Aqib Talib on
Amari Cooper.
On Amari Cooper. Then you have Marcus Peters on the other side with safety help for him.
Carson, you got a pick on that game? I know 3 weeks of an imaginary game.
Yeah, 35-21 Rams.
Baltimore's first in defense. Dallas second. Chargers
get a garbage time
fourth. Bears third. Rams are 20th. Tied. The Rams are 20th tied with the Panthers. 25.6 a game. Cleveland's giving them up 25.7. So the Rams, Panthers, and Browns have the exact same defense. Cowboys giving up a touchdown less per game than all those teams on defense.
Browns. Number 2 and 3.
Chicago and Dallas.
All right, real quick, just say the names. We got to go, guys. Baltimore and Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Denver at Cincinnati.
Denver,
yeah. Cincinnati, Los Angeles.
Dalton's hurt.
Yeah.
Rams and Detroit. Speak real quick.
Rams.
Hugh Jackson leaves Cleveland. Cleveland goes 2-1, wins their first road game ever against the team that Hugh Jackson
didn't leave.
joined.
He was fired.
Well, I know. When he left.
It's not like he wanted to.
He didn't leave on his own, his wants or whatever.
He was pushed out the door.
So, anyway, he joined Cincinnati, and as soon as he joined Cincinnati, they promptly lose to the Browns on their first road win in 2 years.
That's
and
funny.
Andy Dalton's out for the season.
Yeah.
We hire the Browns cancer.
And now he's apparently and like you saw where they said if Marvin Lewis is finally gone, he would be on the fast track.
How do all those other citizens got to feel about that? Golly, I'm sure Cincinnati wants that mess.
Arizona.
All right, Arizona and Green Bay, real quick.
Green Bay.
Bills and Dolphins.
Taking Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
Buffalo.
Bears.
Go Josh Allen, best quarterback out of this draft.
At Giants.
Eli don't have time to think.
Bears.
Colts at Jaguars.
Colts.
Andrew
Luck has
Luck.
been playing really good.
He's playing good.
They're going to get Le'Veon Bell.
Browns at Texans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Houston's
Houston.
hot, man. They're real
Houston.
hot.
Jets
I want Cleveland.
at Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I don't know what
Titans.
Tennessee teams show up, but they should win.
Yeah, it should.
I think the defense will keep it in it. It'll be like 3-6.
Chiefs at Raiders.
I think Kansas City still wins,
Kansas
even though
City.
they've just lost a big.
I think if the Raiders are going to sneak around and win a game, it's going
John
to be
Gruden
this
wants
one.
that number one pick.
I know he does,
flop,
but yeah.
flop, flop.
Vikings in New England.
New England.
Yeah, New England.
It's at New England, so in New England.
San Francisco in Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle.
And Seattle's going to lock up the wild card.
Monday night, Redskins in Philly.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly. I just.
What a. Can Philadelphia win that division?
NFC
or is that
East is just a
8-8's going to win it.
Yeah.
Philadelphia's going to win here, and that'll put Washington out, and then Philadelphia will go to Dallas, and they'll be out of
Washington's season was over with the break of a leg.
All right. Chargers at Steelers on Sunday night.
Chargers.
Football.
I am taking Los Angeles.
No,
Chargers.
that's not going to happen. Pittsburgh too strong at home.
Big Ben is the most passive-aggressive little diva.
Carolina Panthers in Tampa. Keep the cheerleaders out of the bars.
Yeah, Tampa wins.
You think Tampa Bay wins?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Who's starting?
You know what I'm talking
Jameis or
You know what I'm talking
Fitzmagic?
I don't think it really matters.
Jameis is starting.
Jameis is starting. Okay.
I'll take the Panthers.
Hey, let me tell you
Give me
real
Carolina.
quick. I want to. It's real funny. I know we got to go. Jameis Winston. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Everybody gives him all this mess about how he's playing. Or yes, his interceptions are a problem, but if you look at the passing statistics, besides his interceptions, he's still like top 10 in every category.
Yep.
And he's only played like half the season.
Yeah, he's missed like 3 or 4 games.
He's slinging the ball. Why would Jacksonville not call him next year? If they don't want to bring in
You're going to have options.
If they don't want to bring in a high-profile quarterback, why would they not
They're
bring him
gonna have
in? I
options.
think that would be an excellent
Joe
choice.
Flacco, you got maybe Derek
Jacksonville's
Carr,
got
maybe
options.
Eli Manning.
All right, guys, give the scores from last night. Terry 1, 2, and 3, 4, 3 A's for you guys around the table. We got to go.
All right, in the 1A, it was Robbinsville 32, Thomas Jefferson 13, Murphy 33, Mitchell 29, East Surrey 40, Mount Airy 0, and Starmount over Polk County 21-7.
Brevard 20, Wheatmore at 13, Reedsville 21, Mountain Heritage 14, Shelby 35, North Lincoln 7, and High Brighton 34, Bandy's 15.
Mount Tabor 24, AC Reynolds 21, Weddington 42, Watauga 14, Charlotte Catholic 28, Hunter Huss 7, Kings Mountain 49, Northwest Cabarrus 28.
All right, Friday night, Kings Mountain at Charlotte. Basketball on WLON. Terry will be tuned into that one. I know. We'll see you next Friday night. Tonight, Clemson and Pittsburgh. Thank you for tuning in on Cameras In Saturday Sports Talk, KTCBroadcasting.com.
Is the cost of ink driving your profits down? Then listen up. Discount Ink Jet and Toner is here to help. Discount Ink